Good afternoon, Doc.
Okay, thank you very much and welcome to today's lecture. Can somebody propose for the start of the class? And please be informed that I think it's being recorded already, right? This class is being recorded.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So Esther, can you propose for the start of the lecture? You just mention your name and you state that on behalf of the class, our time is up, so we propose that the lecture can start. Unless, of course, you want us to wait for another 5 minutes for the rest to join, which I don't prescribe.
So I think we have to wait for like 5 minutes so that I remind my team to join.
But your team know that the class starts at 2, so we know. So why should they be reminded again?
Okay, sir. So I,
On behalf
Esther.
of the class, yes.
Okay, on behalf of the class, I, Esther Ejeni Boateng,
Propose for the start of the class.
propose for the start of the class.
So can
Thank
you
you.
do it now?
Come again.
Can you do it again?
On behalf of the class, I, Esther Ejeni Boateng, propose for the start of the class. Thank you.
Right. All right. Thank you very much, Esther. Esther, were you in class the last time we met?
Yes, please.
Okay. So can you give us a brief of what we discussed? Can you give us a brief of what we discussed last
I
time?
think from what I captured was you discussed about what we are going to do for the but in fact, this one I
Oh,
was in class.
very glad, but you cannot tell us what we did. That's serious.
Yeah.
That's just a week ago. Patrick, a week
Someone
ago,
can bail me out.
okay, then they mention somebody who to bail you out since you are looking for a bail partner.
Eric can do that.
Eric, the ball is in your court. So give us a brief of what we discussed the last time we met. Is Eric online?
Hello,
Esther, is
sir.
Eric online?
Eric Odromes are here. I don't know.
Okay, well, Esther is the one proposing, so I'm sure that you are the one that he's proposing. So can you give us a brief of what we did the last time we met?
Okay, the last time we started with the introduction of MIS in public sector organizations. And we said that MIS is a concept. It's a concept. And we also discussed about the four characteristics of a system. First of all, we discussed about the system where there's interaction between the element that form up the MIS system. And we talk about the four characteristics of a system, that it must be the MIS system must be clear, it must be purposeful, must also be accountable. The MIS system must also be able to document information, and the system must be also be able to repeat itself. And we also talk about the component of MIS system. We look at the people, the hardware, the software, the data, and the policies and procedures that guide the use of MIS in an organization. This is basically what I can say for now. If someone can also take it up from there.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so yeah, that is what we did. Anybody else to pick it up from where we left off? And we are going to do this every time we meet. So please, before we come to lecture, it is imperative that we at least go through the slides. And if we have access to the recording, we can also look at listen to the recording. These days, even if you are in your car, you can always have access to information. Okay. Anybody else?
Well, we don't have the slides. So.
You don't have the slides? I think I shared it. I even shared the slides on the in the chat box the last time, or I didn't. And I asked the class rep to also contact me so that I give you the questions. Nobody did. Okay. So you have only 1 week to submit the assignment if I give up today. I didn't hear from the class rep again.
Please, can you pardon us and reshare it for us? We beg you.
I will do that.
I said the LMS is there. I think maybe it's up and now if you can.
Is it up now? The last time I checked, I was told that I have not been put on the LMS. So when I went there, I couldn't upload anything. So
it's up now.
It's up now. Yes.
Okay. All right. Then I'll do that after the lecture. Okay. So last week we looked at the management of information systems in public organization. Before that, we had also looked at the course outline, what it entails. This is a 5-week intensive course. So we have 4 hours straight, even 4.5 hours straight. So it's very, very intensive. We should be doing this for maybe 10 weeks or so, but we are doing it within 5 weeks. So there's a lot that we are expected to do. So we shared the course outline, we discussed the course outline, we even voted to accept the course outline as a true reflection of what we are expected to do for this semester. We introduced the concept of information systems, like Eric said, and we also focus on a system. System is the interaction of 2 or more elements or components, or an assemblage of components that work together to achieve a specific goal. And we examined that their role in improving decision-making, efficiency, governance, and delivery of... Yes. Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. I thought I heard hello, so I thought you were not hearing me. So all these, we're doing it within the public sector institution. So the system was defined, set of interrelated components working together towards a common objective. And this, in the information system, include data, procedures, the hardware, the software, the people, the policies, the culture, anything at all that come into the field whilst you are discussing information system. Systems are everywhere. We have the solar system, the human being is a system by itself. We also define MIS as a structured process that helps in collecting, processing, and analyzing data into meaningful information for managerial decision making. And when you come to organizations, public institutions, then that decision will be made by public officers or people with public administration role. The lecture also emphasizes on management. We also looked at what management is. We said management is the act of planning, controlling, administering, delegating. So all these are part of it. Information is processed data. And we also mentioned that data is not just the words, the tests, or data is anything that you do not understand. So if a Chinese man enters this class and starts speaking Chinese, so long as you need an interpreter, so long as you need somebody to explain things to you, then it is data. Okay, we looked at core components of MIS, which included the people, the hardware, the software, the data, and the procedures. The procedures are the policies, the workflows, and the also organizational guidelines. These are central argument that if any of them, if any part of these fail, no matter how good the organization is, it will also fail. And I said that, yes, human being is a system. If you wake up in the morning and even your fingernail is biting you, I'm sure that the whole system, the whole human being would have to attend to the hospital. So you will not be able to remove that hand alone and say, okay, you take Lee to the hospital, I'm going to the office. So you go to the hospital and you have to be part of it. The human factor is very, very, very important because these are the greatest assets and the greatest risk in implementing management information system. And we also mentioned that there are shortage in IT professionals in Ghana public sector. And therefore, if you are doing anything, the need to have information system as part of it. I don't know whether because of my background, but I think that whichever organization, institution that is not using MIS, or if you look at the success of a country, of an institution, of a person, that depends on information system. So no matter what you are doing, whether you are in economics, you are in accounting, human resource, whichever field you find yourself, you cannot do without information system. And if you are not doing well, it means that you are not using information system well. There are several characteristics and objectives of information system. You can look at it from a holistic organizational view. It supports strategic, technical, tactical, and operational decisions. It also helps to facilitate forecasting and planning. And we also stated that every system is within a system. So there's a boundary for that particular system, but every system is surviving within a particular system. You can even stretch the argument to the earth. So if you are not anywhere, at least you are on the surface of the earth. So you are part of the ecosystem of the earth. And the earth itself is also surrounded by other bodies, the sun and the planets. So you see how far you can go. A system is really, really an integrated space. And there's importance of having information system, including avoiding duplication. Duplication is using the same system or using different systems to perform the same function. And my example is the use in Ghana. If you take Ghana as a system, and then we have several identification systems within Ghana. So the same person that goes to NHI to get your picture taken, your biograph, your biometrics taken, your date of birth, hometown, whatever, your name, everything taken at NHIS. That same person goes to another department, and the same information that is taken, you go to electoral commission. The same information that you gave to NHIS is also used at the electoral commission. And each of these are holding huge databases, and it requires a lot of money to run and to maintain and to even to buy. But we are here, 40 million people, and we are using several systems. That is duplication, and that's quite expensive. We also explain what a public sector organization is. We said that public sector organizations are government-owned or government-controlled institution that is established to provide public services rather than for profit. So there are several: the ministry, the health institution, the educational institution, the utility company. These are all examples of public sector organizations. The key characteristics is that every public sector must be accountable to the public because it is public money. The money that is being utilized belongs to the people. So you have to be accountable. But there are several bureaucratic structures within the public service. All right. In one vein, it is expected that these bureaucratic practices are supposed to streamline and get things done. But at the same time, the flip side of it is that it also creates snail pace of activities. Things that can be done within a day can take us several days. And it also acts on legal and regulatory controls. So every public sector, in fact, every organization would have to be managed through legal and regulatory controls. But when it comes to the public sector, the oversight is so huge. There's also political interference and political interest when it comes to public sector. And taxation use. The focus of public sector organization is for social welfare and service delivery. Okay, so if you come to the public sector organization, we are looking at administrative efficiency, we are looking at digital service delivery and transparency and accountability. Public sector organizations are also policy planning and budgeting, and there's also the need to monitor and to evaluate government programs. All these require the use of information system. So whatever public sector that you find yourself and you see that they are not doing well or they are not able to achieve their mandate, the bottom line is that they are not using information system. So there are several technology-enabled services, including online taxing, digital payment, voter registration, health information, passport applications. So in Ghana, we have a lot of them. We'll look at them into details. And yeah, so this is about the brief of what we did, not so brief, but a summary of what we did the last time. And there are several challenges also facing public sector organizations as they try to implement management information system. They are resistant to change. Many organizations will resist change. In fact, everywhere around the world, yes, it's one of the key things. People are used to doing something in a certain way. So asking them to do it differently becomes a problem. In Ghana, we have always been the suppliers of raw materials because for time immemorial, that is what the Ghanaian psyche has become. For the 500 years or so that we went into slavery and colonialism, we've been made to think that everything we do must be raw materials. So our cocoa, our timber, our gold, everything that we have, we hardly would add anything. So 70 years, still counting after independence, we are still grappling with even trying to add value to the things that we do. And it will take quite an austere measure take our mind off and say, look, this is not the way to go around it. So resistant to change. We still want to do the same cocoa. Go to the cocoa farm and cut and plug the cocoa and put them in the and you know go. So we see the people who are using the cocoa. Meanwhile, we can use technology to do most of these things. And we are also having an updated legacy system. Legacy systems are the system that we are using. We are used to paper-based and signing and a lot of things. That's also a challenge. And there's inadequate funding. Government always have priorities, and sometimes the priority doesn't look at information system. And also we mentioned shortage of skilled labor, fragmented database I have mentioned with all that, and the weak infrastructure. And this morning I've been struggling. I wanted to do the class at home, but I realized that no, I needed to come to the office because my area, the MTN, has been giving so much problem. And there's also the rigid bureaucratic culture that we have. So there's a need to have staff training like you are doing and stronger change management policies, user involvement in the system design. So this is going to take us to system design and implementation. And there must the need to invest in digital infrastructure. Government is depending so much on the private sector, MTN and the rest of them, but they are business mind. They are not a public organization. They are in to make money. So we need to have effectiveness in MIS to enhance governance, to improve service delivery, to strengthen accountability, and also support evidence-based policy decisions. And that will help us to increase organizational efficiency so that we can drive transformation in government businesses. So that was the thing we did last week. Remember, it's almost a 4-hour or maybe more class, so it's very intensive. So today we are going to our next lecture for today, and I'll be glad if somebody can tell us what our expectations are. What is today's lecture on? What should today's lecture be on? Yeah, who has today's lecture outline? I think we shared it in the class, or you didn't copy, you didn't pick it up. Hello, am I here?
No, sir, we didn't pick it up.
Oh my goodness.
Sir, we didn't pick it up.
Okay, so let me see if I can share the course outline again. Course outline, where am I? To chat. Okay, so I'm trying to share. Where is it? Document. Oh. No screenshots. File, okay. So ICD course outline. So I'm sharing the course outline. Can somebody open it up? The file is in use. So let me. Okay, so I've shared it in the chat box. So kindly pick it up and let's know what are we supposed to do today. Has it come? Please go to the chat and see if you can download it. Has anybody been able to download it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today is week 2. What are we supposed to do?
So today we are doing information systems design and development.
Okay.
Systems development life cycle, requirement analysis, design methodologies, feasibility studies, user-centered systems development,
Okay.
challenges in public sector systems development. And there are group discussions,
Okay.
demonstrations, etc. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. So today is our second meeting, second lecture. We are supposed to be doing information system design and development. Now that we know what information system is, we've agreed that it is an important part of it. But the information system does not occur in nature. So it has to be developed. And if it has to be developed, what are the processes to go through? We are not in an IT class per se. We are not in computer science class per se. We are managers, we are economics in informatics. Because of the informatics, we need to understand. So that when those who are actually doing the design are making claims and they are explaining things, we also would be part of the decision making because we understand it. Most of our leaders do not understand. So it's important that we understand, even though we will not be coding, we will not be developing it. But we are part of the system. Before an information system can come, it's a system. So anybody at all that is part of the discussion would have to know what is involved. So our outline today, we'll be looking at, we'll look at introduction, we'll look at information system design and development, a brief discussion in public administration. Whilst we are doing information system design, we need to look at the system development life cycle. And we are going to focus this on public sector ICT projects. There have been a number of ICT projects in Ghana. So we need to go through and see the steps that they went through to get these products in service. That will include requirement analysis and stakeholder engagement in government systems. So what are the requirements? We want to do online passport, for example. What are some of the requirements? So we do requirement analysis. We also do, now that we know the requirement analysis, then we will now go and actually do the system, design the system. So what methodologies are we using to design the system? There are traditional way of doing it, the waterfall model. There's also the agile model and iterative model. And some approaches also include bringing one or two together to become a hybrid model. We also look at feasibility studies in public sector information systems. Then we will have to evaluate some cases of government policies in Ghana. And if you have others also, you can bring it for the discussion. So there are going to be a number of discussions. We're going to have ourselves into groups. So start telling me your group members, and then we'll have some discussion. You can go online and bring this discussion to fruition. Okay, when we are done, our objective is that we should be able to understand the concept and scope of information system design and development, especially when it is in the public organization. And we also expect that we can explain the stages and governance role of the information system development life cycle. It's sometimes also referred to as software development life cycle. This is the question, and my objectives are the questions. So if you have any lecture notes for me, my questions are the objective, because this is what we need to achieve. So if you have achieved it, then you should be able to answer a question like explain the stages and governance role of information system development life cycle. It can be a question that you have to answer. We also will be able to apply the requirement analysis we did and the requirement analysis techniques so that we will be able to identify public sector system needs and then compare and evaluate system design methodologies used in digital government and project. Then this is a question: assess the technical, economic, and operational, legal, and schedule feasibility of IS projects in Ghana, and also have a user-centered design principle in the public sector. If we do all of this, analyzing the institutional and political and technical challenges in government IS projects can also be looked at. And then there are real world examples, a lot of examples in Ghana. Ghana, we've done so well in the past, and probably 15 years, 10 years, when it comes to trying to move. We could do better. If you look at countries like Estonia, Korea, and the rest of them, they are using information system, and that is, they are able to move things faster than we are. We are still depending on the agrarian economy. We are still using our hoes and cutlasses to plant. We are not going to get far. We will be working hard, but these days it's not a matter of working hard, it's a matter of working smart. If you keep working hard, yes, you will keep breaking your back and nothing else will come. So this is what we are expected to do in the next 4 hours or so. All right, very interactive class. Any question, any addition, subtraction for what we've done so far? It's an interactive class. So Prince, I said if you come to my class, you need to speak. Prince Maggi.
Yes, sir.
Were you in class last week? Were you in class?
Yes, dog.
Okay, all right. Any question for what we've done so far?
No, dog.
And if there are no questions, then you need to give us a 1 minute summary of what we have discussed. If you have a question, that's good. If you don't have a question, meanwhile you understand the things we've done. So give us a brief of what you've picked so far.
Dog, in relation to this, what you just discussed or last week.
In relation to whatever we have done so far.
Okay. Dog.
Whatever you have heard so far. Because what we have done last week would still be part of what we'll do today and tomorrow and the next until we are done, until you finish writing your paper.
Yes,
and getting your A. Okay, let's hear you.
So, dog, we discussed about so the course is
if you are discussing and students make this, not students, I mean, if you are discussing, it is about something. So as soon as you use the word discuss, the next things to follow should not be about, because about is inherent in the discussion. So let's hear you. We discussed
MIS.
Okay.
And in MIS, we spoke about systems which are various components coming together to make something work. We said the system can be physical or abstract.
Yes.
We spoke about components, things that makes up an MIS system. And we said people, because they have to do the inputting and other stuff. We spoke about the hardware, which is the physical infrastructure. We spoke about the software, which is the digital footprint. We spoke about data, which is the information we are going to input. And then the procedure and policies that guides this MIS system in general. We spoke about public sector, which we gave examples like ministries, government institutions, which focuses on providing public services and rather than focusing on private gains. And we said that in these sectors, we also use MIS. And we said there are various characteristics of public service, sector organization. We spoke about the public service, their objectives. We spoke about the funds, how they are funded, public service. We spoke about how they do political accountability. So as a public sector, there should be accountability. resource, how their resources are funded. We spoke about tax, levies, and grants, and then the fact that they provide essential services and not for profit maximization, even though they are not supposed to make too much losses. And now we are also to look at how systems are going to be designed, or how systems are designed, how they function. That is the process that every MIS system goes through. That's the design process, or the design life cycle. And that we have to understand it, so that when policymakers or when designers or coders are telling us about their system, we understand how it is designed and built. And for that matter, we will understand every aspect of it. So in terms of costing, once we understand how they are designed, built, and operated, we know how much its value should be, what it should do, and how it should operate. And the fact that Africa, we have not really gone a long way when it comes to MIS as compared to other countries. We still use traditional means more than, even though we are adopting the MIS system, some of the MIS systems, but we are not that effective, and that we should try as a country and then push forward. Thank you, sir. Hello.
I muted myself. Okay, Prince, thank you so much. I said 1 minute, but you're giving us more than 1 minute. That was very good. That was a lot of work put into what you have done. If you have time, come to the office. We need to talk. Okay.
Yes, Doc.
Okay, Prince.
Okay,
if you have
Doc.
time, if you will have time, come around.
I
All
hear
right.
you,
So
Doc.
we are looking at information system design and development. And information system design and development, these are the structures, these are the processes, the procedures. It's a structured procedure of planning. So if you want to develop an information system, you need to plan. The first thing is that you need to plan, thinking about it, planning, creating, implement it, maintaining it, so that it can support organizational operations and decision making. So if our organization is to run efficiently, and efficiently would help to weed out all the manual processes, because manual processes are not efficient, no matter how you describe it. There's no manual process anywhere that is efficient. And they need to take decisions. So government will take decisions based on this. In public administration and public sector organizations, we look at the development of IS to support service delivery. Every government is to provide service. There are a lot of services on top of your head that you can give us, a lot of service the government is doing. So all these services must help. Transparency and accountability, because public institutions are depending on the public for their funding. So they need to be transparent. And how do you ensure transparency without human beings are inefficient? Nature itself is inefficient. There's also the need to do policy implementation. Governments are always coming up. We have our legislature, our parliament is there. They are always trying to implement some policy. And then citizen engagement. If you are doing something for somebody, the person must know. You must go to the person, or the person will come to you. And then there's the need for administrative efficiency as well. I'm sure that this year, if they tell you how much money they are using to buy stationery, paper, pens, and toners, and all those things, I mean, this is, quote and unquote, quite a waste of resources. So yes, information system design in public could enhance the efficiency, transparency, and accountability. But there's a need to navigate, or to look at the challenges that come with trying to even implement it. We've said that, including bureaucracy. There's also the red tapeism. That's the bureaucratic way. And then political influence, politicians who want to influence the system. There's always the need for budgets, budgetary constraints. So all these challenges need to be addressed whilst we try to design. Even to design, we're not even using. Here we are just designing it. So designing and developing it, you need to take all this into consideration. If we design to improve service delivery, and that requires that everybody must be part of it, we need to tailor the approaches that differ from the private sector. So the private sector, they want what they want. They know what they want and they know how to get it. Most of the time they do the list. I mean, they'll make sure that it is good for money. Right. They make sure that the money that they are putting in will get the result they require. But that for public sector, within 4 years, if we are not able to do it, somebody else come and they abandon it. Even the physical things that we see around it is being abandoned. You can go into the bush and you see things that had been left undone since Kwame Nkrumah time. So how much more the digital footprint that is not seen. The purpose of designing information systems for public administration is to ensure that the administration possesses the right records, the management record, the taxation, the e-government, the healthcare issues. All these issues would help to become more efficient if we do the designing well, we do the development well, and we do the implementation well and maintenance well. So these stages, to even start, you need to plan it. You need to think about it. So you have everything that is required to do. You don't start in the middle and then you don't know how you are going to end. So an effective system must be designed in such a way that it can align with the objective of the organization. And in this sense, it is the public organization. So what type of public organization? Is it health? Is it education? Is it infrastructure? Is it the citizen needs and the public accountability requirements are all to be factored into this. So for public sector, information system development, just like in the private sector, would involve a number of issues. The first is the system development life cycle. We know what a life cycle, development with life cycle means something that you start, it goes through several processes, and then it ends. And then we need to do stakeholder analysis. Public sector has a lot of stakeholders, the citizenry themselves, the leaders themselves, the organization, all those who matter, who may be part of the decision making. We will have to analyze their interests and their requirements. That will be requirement gathering. So even after we have decided on it, we need to now gather information. That's requirement gathering. And then we have to test, we have to implement, and then we have to maintain. If we do this, we will ensure reliability, we will ensure interoperability, we will ensure that policy compliance are gained within the government institution. So we cannot develop a system without putting all these systems into place. So there are challenges. What are some of the challenges that can come as a result of even attempting to develop an information system for public institutions? What are some of the challenges we foresee? Yes, Abraham. A lot of you are here with your first name, Grace. Come with your full name, otherwise we will not know Matthew.
Hi, Doc.
Yes. Yes, Abraham.
Okay, I think one of
Okay, go ahead. Let's see. Abraham is quiet, so let's hear you.
okay,
Let's
so
hear you.
one of the challenges is the revenue allocation for the building these systems, because
You
realize that
mean cost
in our
allocation?
yes, please.
Okay.
Yes. In our system, planning towards such things takes a lot, looking at those involved in the planning and how they are even going to be able to allocate the revenue for such things is kind of challenging sometimes. Those in the positions who need to do that, they will go for meetings upon meetings, and it ends up, whatever is going to be allocated for the planning or for the building of such system, realize that it even goes wasted in addition to whatever they planned in, doing or planning or using during the moment of planning. So cost allocation is a challenge.
Okay, all right, that's true. You're right. Cost allocation is a challenge. They will spend more time trying to get per diem and sitting allowance than putting the effort in. All right, thank you very much. Matthew, you can come with your full name. Yes, Matthew, let's hear you.
Okay, so my name is Matthew. So that this marriage will be I'll fill that in the chat box. And my
Matthew, is that your background?
Romans 12, verse 10.
So what is happening? Are you in another meeting or in another class? Let's have somebody whose background is not going to disturb.
It's a little noise on my area, man. I think it's outside. Yes, sir.
Let's hear.
Yes, sir. So I said my full name is Matthew Sefi, and my
so let's have your full name.
Yes, please. I'll edit that soon. But I wanted to give my point, and my point is
okay. Give us your point. Yes.
My point is not having key KPIs like key indicators that will be measuring progress at specific intervals. So if you have these systems in place and you don't have key points at every interval that you'll be checking and knowing your progress and then non-progress, you are not able to efficiently, even if there's a lot of resource allocated, you are not able to efficiently utilize some of these resources because you don't know what at the end of the day you want to achieve within a particular milestone. And so there must be
key performance indicators. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we are looking at challenges. So lack of key performance indicators. Who is supposed to do what at what time, interval, and all of that. Okay. Yes, that's fine. That's also very important. Okay. Yes, Al Hassan Abdallah.
Yes, Doc. So in the public sector, one of the biggest challenges is resistance to change, where staff refuse to accept systems because they don't want to change from their usual way of doing things.
Yeah, you just have to change. They've been used to doing something. They've had their PhD so long. You want to come and change what they are doing. They are not used to the new system you are bringing. They are suspicious that you are going to even take their job from them. Yes, Eric. Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
Abdallah, can you put your mic down so that? Yeah, your mic.
Doc, just as a top up to what Abdallah said, looking at it from a different version, I also think one challenge is inadequate or poor stakeholder engagement, because the systems will be developed for use by people, but too many times the people who use it, they are not engaged, their views and opinions are not even added in the design. So you end up designing the system, the people don't understand how to use it, or they don't even appreciate how to use it. That is how come some of them will put up attitudes of resistance to change in using the system. Thank you.
Very good. Very great points. Thank you, Eric. Yes, another great point. That is why it's important that we understand. So when we understand, we are managers, we become presidents, we become directors, we become leaders in our organization, we will know that we have to bring everybody on board. Stakeholder engagement is a very critical issue. Yes, Joseph.
Yo, Doc. Good afternoon.
Yes, Joseph. Good afternoon, Joseph.
Because one of the challenges is internet connectivity.
Internet connectivity.
Where you want to access information from the public service, or you want any service from the public, and then you will be waiting all day. They will tell you the system is not working, all of that.
Yeah. So Ghana, that is infrastructure. The infrastructure itself, we are depending on private sector. Meanwhile, the government says that government services are for it's not for profit. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Joseph. Yes, Prince.
Yes,
Prince.
Yes. Political will and political interference.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you realize that because it's a public MIS, public sector MIS, you realize that politicians sometimes because of this 10% they may not get, they are not willing to implement it. Sometimes some people even feel like when it comes, it's going to take away some things they get, and then some people will start interfering because they don't want it to happen.
Okay, all right, that's true. But I don't know. Do you have anybody? Do you have any? Is it when you are making a public statement, you need to put your allege, because unless you have, of course, you have a proof of anybody taking 10%. Do you have? I don't have a proof. Do you have a proof that somebody's taking 10%? That is
Dog alleged.
Okay, all right, then that's alleged. Okay, you heard it. You don't have any proof. All right, thank you very much. Jennifer, you want to make a point again? Okay, so you can put your hand down.
Yes,
Prince and Joseph.
Hello, Doc.
Yes.
Yes, Doc. I want to add up to the one who said internet connectivity. I think it's not even the fact of internet connectivity. The issues itself, whatever information you need here in Ghana, you have challenge accessing it in the first place. The education is not there. So we the citizens, there are so many things that we should know, or there are so many informations that I think that should be accessible by us, but then they are in the first place not there. You roam on the internet to search and search and search, and then you will never find those information. So the availability of information itself is a problem, not even the internet issue.
Okay. All right. So in addition to the challenges, the internet is also not there. Now at this point we are trying to develop the information system, the processes, the procedures, the actions around the building of it. So we haven't even gotten to where the information is on the system already. But I agree with you. The information to be gathered to even do the work you require, it's not there on the internet. And if you're going to rely on people, word of mouth and observation, that might take a long time. Thank you very much. Priscilla, right? Okay, can we move on? Ohiniba, Prince.
Okay, Doc. There is also this problem of lack of skilled personnel to manage these systems when they are implemented.
Yeah, lack of skilled personnel. Okay, that's fine. That's also important. So bringing it as part of your now economics has now come, economics with informatics. 10 years ago there was no project like that. Now we are adding it to it so that because you guys are going to be the one to manage the affairs of the country. So you should understand that when they come to you or you even know that look, if we do this, we can be able to cut costs and get things more efficiently done. All right, thank you very much. Can we move on? Or if you've made your point, you can put your hand down, Hineba. And so let's have Peter Asibi or say Asibi and then Brown. Oh, more people want to speak. Okay, that's fine.
Hello, Doc.
Yes.
This is Peter.
Yeah, Peter, yes.
Please, my point I want to raise is about data manipulation. In most public institutions, there's much data manipulations involved. So if you are an external body and you want to rely on some data some institutions have put out there, you can be misled. That is one. And if new management come and they want to look into documents that was left for them, that one to data manipulation might mislead them. In every public institution, they want to look good in whatever they are doing. So sometimes most information they put out there is not the actual thing happening. So there can be information you can access, or new management have come, they want to continue from where the previous left off, and they can be misled. So I can see that there's some challenge in there.
Okay, so there'll be challenges. You are now going to build. The information you need to even help you to build, that information has been manipulated, according to Peter Osei SCB. Okay, well noted. Yes, Brown. Brown.
Look.
Yes. David Brown.
Okay, so mine has to do with the governance of MIS. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, no, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes. Oh.
Yeah, so I want to take it from the perspective of the governance, in the sense that before an organization is given the accreditation to run that, they need to have this data, they need to be compliant when it comes to data protection. So there are some, because it's data, if it's on information on people's health, people's finances, financial data, and all of that, it needs to be binded in a way that there's some form of confidentiality and then data protection, so that in case there's any cyber attack or any cyber security breach, at least there should be a backup solid enough to make sure that the data of people are protected. So if all of these infrastructures are analyzed by the governing body and they realize that, oh, you do not have the full capacity to run that system, I believe they were not going to give you the chance to set up the IMS system in your,
all right.
in
So
your organization.
now
And that could be.
Go on. That could be. Go on, please. Go on. Go ahead.
That could be a major challenge. So.
All right.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you go ahead? Go ahead.
So
We can hear
I'm
you.
trying to say that if the governing body assess your infrastructure, your capacity, and then realize that you are unable to the information of either clients, consumers, whoever they are, you are unable to protect their data, they are not going to give you the license to even operate or set up an IAM organization.
Okay, all right. But at the back of our mind, we should know that we are now developing the system. We want to see the challenges that that we will face as we develop the system. We are not thinking of developing the system. We will look at implementing the system. We'll look at using the system. We'll look at managing the system. All right. So at this level, all the things you're saying is right. You are on point. Just I want us to focus our attention on the challenges that will come about as a result of even developing the system, designing the system. These are the challenges we are looking at. But it doesn't take away from, it's part of it because it's a whole system we are developing. So anything at all that comes to the field will be part of it being successful or not successful. Yeah, Prisla, I still have your hand up. Hello, Prisla.
Yes, so.
Yeah, you still have your hand up.
Yes, please. Please,
okay, go ahead.
Yes, please. I also want to add that we could also look at a challenge of sustainable energy or power infrastructure. Because in this era of so if the public organization or the institution doesn't have a sustainable energy infrastructure, the system might not work since it is linked to energy, which is electricity.
Okay, very well noted. Because MIS depends on power, depends on electricity. So where there's no electricity, then nobody can hold anybody responsible. Yeah. So that's right. Okay, so there are several challenges. You've enumerated several of them. So legacy systems, there is a way of doing things, and those ways it's very difficult to push other people out of it. There's also inadequacy in the infrastructure, resistance to change, budget constraint, and then policy limitations as well. And of course, there are limited technical expertise among public sector employees. Because for public sector, you hardly get people sacked. The person might have done something really, really, really bad to get sacked. A lot of people may, if it's in the private sector, what people do there, they won't even stand 1 month. They'll go. So these are some of the key issues: legacy system, inadequate infrastructure, and inadequate infrastructure will bring in the energy issue, the internet issue, and all that. The poor policy, budget constraint. There's not enough money to go around, and somebody say he's hungry, and you want to go and develop a software that he cannot see. So for public sector information system to be successful, there's the need to have project management. So before we start it, we have to have a project management. That project management will come with skills. So it's not political expediency. It's not who you like or you do not like. You need to put together a project management committee. There's also the need to have training. So staff must be trained. You are training yourself. You are not waiting for your organization to come and train you. If your organization brought you, that's part of the user training. But as individuals who are going to use the system, even before we start developing it, we need to take them through training, inform them. There's a need to have continuous communication, all right? And then put in place cyber security measures. You cannot start talking about MIS without thinking about cyber security issues. And the system must be designed in such a way that it is citizen-centered. Citizen-centered means that everybody who may use it must understand its usage, and that is the things. So we can do that. If we can do that, then we can enhance the trust. We can also do democratic participation because we are in a democracy, so things does not just come. So you realize that when I come to class, it is a democratic institution. It's a democratic participation. I can't just come and say, because you are the lecturer, you start talking. You need somebody to give you need somebody to be part of it. We all agree on it, because to have a digital footprint, to have a sustainable digital transformation, it is not a one-man issue. It's not one person who is skilled that can make it successful. No matter how knowledgeable and how skillful you are, if you don't bring everybody into the pot and explain things, continuously communicate so that they can also express themselves, their challenges, you do it. You build a system and it is not going to be used. And that is a waste of time. Now, to do this, all the thing we are doing is the need for what we call the system development life cycle. So to start developing the system, so now we are developing the system. Last week we looked at the system, its importance, how it is helping organization and all of that. Now we are developing the system. All right. So to develop a system, we rely on a structured format, a structured process called the system development life cycle. Others will say software development life cycle. A software is a system. So whatever we discuss here, we're looking at all systems. Okay. So we start with the planning. You don't just design. You need to plan. What is it that you are doing? What do you want to achieve? Like you want to cook. What do you want to cook? Why do you want to cook? Then before you design, you develop, you test, you implement, you maintain. So this is the processes that you go through in order to be able to develop a software. First is the planning stage. You go into details. Second, after you have planned, you need to design. Then you need to develop, because you don't develop if you haven't designed it. After you develop it, you need to test it. So when you test it, then you implement it. And then once it is being used, you keep maintaining maintenance. So this will ensure that the system meets organizational needs. It also will meet user requirements. It will work efficiently and effectively. So if we use the system development lifecycle, and at this level, you should know the system development lifecycle. It will provide the basis for all the variations that will come. People think we should do it like that, others think we should do. So find a way to bring everybody into the discussion, because there's a lot advances in information system now automating linear sequence of the stages, and there are several software development methodologies that we'll look at into details. And you can prototype. Prototype means that yes, you do something small to show them, and then when they understand that, you can scale it up. There's also the need for iteration, where you don't say, I am the person with the skill. I have developed the software for you, go and use it. That is not iteration. So there's the need to bring everybody in so that each activity will be informed by information from the members or the stakeholders. So these are the 6 stages: the planning, the analysis, the design, the implementation, testing, integration, and then the maintenance. These are the stages you come. Okay. All right. So you said you do planning. The first stage is the planning. So planning is the first stage. After conceptualizing means that you would have seen what you have been doing, anything that is being done. You have to conceptualize the idea, but concept is at the abstract level. So if you conceptualize, it can be there. You know that you want to, the way people are going for passports, the processes that you go through to get a passport, you need to conceptualize it and, okay, let's move away from the manual processes and automate it. So if you have to automate it, we need to bring in information systems. And to bring in information system means that we need to plan. The first stage, the planning is the first phase of the system development life cycle. So here you have identified a problem. It's a problem or a challenge or even an improvement. The system is okay, but you need to improve. So whatever system that you have in place, you need to identify the problem or identify an improvement mechanism, and then you need to define the goals. What do you want to achieve? What does this system intend to achieve? After you have done that, then assess its feasibility. Yeah, you can have all the good mind, but sometimes it's not feasible. And the feasibility, there are several levels of feasibility. Feasibility in terms of cost, in terms of technology, in terms of interest. So there are several feasibilities that will come. If you develop a system that the people they cannot use it. So you built it, but they cannot use it. So it's not feasible. So there's a need to do all these feasibility studies to determine the resources that are required for the development. So if you start developing and you don't have the resources, enough for information system, you can, it's like a pregnant mother. Whatever you do, whether you are ready or not, you give birth. So the child is not waiting for you to buy all the things that is needed. If you start developing an information system, you need to finish it. If you don't finish it, all the things that you have done will become wasted. So that is the planning stage. So when we go to the planning stage, we said you should identify the problem. All right. So problem identification is the first point of call. You need to look at the existing organizational challenges. So you are in a particular organization. What are the organizational challenges? What are the inefficiencies that you have identified? If it's service delivery, what are the gaps in the service delivery that require an information system solution? So you identify the problem by looking at the problem, by talking to people. What are some of the things what is the objective? There must be a clear goal, a clear outcome. There must be system scope. You can't do everything. So there must be system scope, there must be performance target. Somebody mentioned KPI. There must be key performance indicators that the system will do. But all these must be aligned with organizational needs and its strategic priorities. So if you don't have a priority, the organization doesn't have a priority, you have no business going in there to even think about implementing an MIS. So establish clear objectives. If they don't have it, you need to help them to do it. Some people today know, but it's not written. It's not documented. But if you go to government institution, every government institution has a policy, a law, a legal basis. So if you go through that legal basis, you will know how or what their goals, their outcomes, and their processes are. And then you now can have a clear idea as to what you want to do. So after establishing the objectives, identify the objectives, looking at identify the problems, and then defining the objective, then you need to do stakeholder analysis. Stakeholder analysis of key stakeholders. Identify the key stakeholders. So the management, the employees, the government agencies, the citizens, so that you can determine their role. Some of them, even if they are spectators, some of them, if you go to the football, if you go to the stadium, it is not just the players. The spectators are part of it. So that's also a system, right? So they have their role to play. What are their expectations? And what are the system requirements that are needed to be able to help them achieve their expectations? All these must be determined. Then you need to plan the resources. Like I said with the example of our mothers, so long as the woman is pregnant, the resource planning must be there. Start to determine the financial, the human, the technical, the time resources that are needed so that you can have successful development and implementation. If you develop and you don't implement, still back to the same way, back to square one. All right. So there's a need to plan. You need to know how much is involved. And sometimes it doesn't come cheap. You need to make the money available. So it's not like I want to build from Accra to Kumasi, three lanes to go to Accra to Kumasi. Meanwhile, we don't have money. We don't have the money. So we do it in the middle, then we stop. And then the rains will come, and then we have to go and start all over again. In system development, no. Because by the time you finish, if you stop for a year. By the time you want to pick it up, the technology that was used to start has even gone, has become obsolete. Because technology is moving very fast. So some of the things you may have to subscribe for 1 year, for 2 years to do it. And if you wait too long, so resource planning is very important. Then when you are done also, you have the deliverable after going through what we just talked about, after looking at the problem statement, defining the objective, looking out for stakeholder analysis and resource planning, you have a deliverable. The deliverable is a project charter. So you don't just discuss it, you have to document it. So the project charter will be the formal document that is authorizing the project to be made. So that will outline the project objectives. Of course, you have done it in the first instance. It will also identify the stakeholders. We've discussed the stakeholders, then define their stakeholders and their responsibilities. Then you can now have an overall direction of the project that's supposed to be built. All right, so that's the first deliverable. You have to document what is required. It will also help us do what we call the scope statement. The scope statement is part of the document that will define the boundaries, because you cannot do everything. So if you want to do what do you call them, the driver's license, if you go to the DVLA, there are a lot of activities that goes on there. So which part of it that is the system supposed to do? So there's a detailed document that will define the boundaries of the project, system features, the deliverable, the expected requirement, the constraints, the timelines, and all the activities that will come from the project. All right. So whatever we do, we will now have to get the requirement analysis. So we are identifying the user's needs. To identify the user's need means that you have to collect and analyze their expectations. How do you do it? You have to talk to them. You have to set up questionnaire. You have to do observation. You have to identify the problems, operational requirements the users require. So you need to talk to the users, ensure that the system can firstly support their task and the decision making. Then you will be able to determine the functionalities. So now gradually you are moving towards a point where you can look at the features, what the system should do, what functionality is it supposed to do. Of course, if you are in a hospital, your functionality will be different from somebody at DVLA or at the Electoral Commission or at any other, or at the university, for example. So define the specific features these systems have to do. Its operation, what inputs are required, what output is expected, its performance requirements, so that you provide a complete, cohesive document understanding that can help the organization achieve its objective. So before you do that, you need to understand the organizational processes. So if you are an MIS person, you are a database person, you must also go and understand. So if you bring somebody from somewhere who doesn't understand it, what is he building? So there's the need to understand the process, examine the various workflows, the policy documentation, communication processes and procedures, the business processes that the system is required to do. And all this must be aligned with organizational objectives and to improve operations and efficiency. All right. Any question? Any additions, subtractions? Any question? Do you have any question?
No question, Doc. I think you can.
No question from your end, right? Or you're talking for everybody?
From me, my end.
From your end. All right. So if there's no question there, you give me a brief a brief summary of what we have done. Bismarck, your line, why do you have just Bismarck? Can we have your full name here, please? The last time you told us that where you are, your network is blah 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 blah. Today too, the same thing. I had to rush when I realized my data network was having a challenge at home. I needed to rush to the campus. Yeah, is Bismarck here? Okay, so we've done our analysis. We've looked at the challenges. We've looked at how to achieve it. To achieve it, we looked at the system development life cycle or software development life cycle. This is a structured way of doing things. It's a system. Systems are structured. So even the procedure to develop the system must also be structured. Now, what are some of the methods? We said you should understand, where is it? You should understand the organizational processes and procedures. All right. So if you should understand, how would you understand? You need to interview people. You need to have direct discussion with the users, with stakeholders. You need to gather information. So information system requirements. You need to understand their challenges and their expectations. All right. So that will be by interview. You may also want to go and observe. So those who are going to develop the system must go to the institution and go and observe. All right. So observation, you monitor sometimes you can be there. That can be done for so long before even the system, because if you don't observe, you don't see the employees, the organizational activity in real time environment. So you understand their workflows, the system that you're going to use, the operational challenges. So observation is fine. You can also do questionnaire as a researcher. You can do questionnaire and give it to them. So structured set of questions so that users can fill in. That can help you to collect large amount of data, and then you can use an information system to extract and know what they are doing. These days, Google Form, you give them Google Form to do it. Some people will not use it, so you may also still have to. I saw one of our lecturers doing PhD collecting data, and I saw a lot of, he has printed so much. They said, what is this paper thing? He said he's going to do data collection. I said, why don't you use Google Form? Say, hey, you people are doing technology. Well, I'm going to talk to them. They don't understand Google Form. And even if they did, their system is gone down. He's going to use his own data to fill the form for you. So he won't do. So you go there, give it to him, and then he will fill it with pen and paper. It's printed, so you fill it with a pen, and that can also help you. So these are some of the methods. You may also want to have a workshop. So if you want to develop something for Ghana Health Service, you may want to have a workshop. You have to have collaborative meeting with all the stakeholders, the system developers, so that you can discuss their requirements, solve problems, and build consensus on the key features of the system that is expected. Then you need to have document also. The document analysis, and the laws, the rules, the procedures, the policies. So review all existing systems, existing reports, pick everything that the company, the institution has done, whether it's in university, it is a Ministry of Education or Ministry of Health, Ministry of Defense. You need to review a lot of reports. And these days, if it is all in manual, that can be very, very daunting and very, very laborious. So you may want to push some of these things into digital systems, policies and organizational records, so that you can understand their processes and procedures and see what the current requirements are. Okay? So that will help us to understand what we are doing. We are building the system. Now we have done the planning stage. All these things were part of the planning stage. Yes, Jennifer.
So, please, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
With regards to the method, can we say that for instance, the nurses or the teachers, these licensure examinations that they write can be a method or a form in which they can use in collecting informations with regards to whatever they have, and then to use it to build up a system for them to meet their expectations and challenges?
I'm not sure. After for the teacher's licensing of examination, I think it is a way to inform policyholders or to assure stakeholders that these people finished school last year, last 2 years, last 3 years. Today they are still relevant. Their education is still relevant. Their information they have is still relevant. So, how do you prove it? So to prove it means that you have to write exams. When it comes to system development, and you are developing something that the teacher will use, for example, if you want to help secondary school students to be able to use some information system, LMS, learning management system, the teacher herself must understand the learning management system. He must understand. At the university level, the same thing. And it's not because you are an IT person or you are an MIS person. Every system is unique, so you need to be trained as to how to use it. All right. These days there are cars, but how did we start learning cars with a manual system and things? If you buy a new car, you have to be taken through some manual processes. So it's quite different from the licensure examination that they are writing. If they can put in that also, that will be fine, and they are going to use it to help developers for educational system. That will also be fine. That's all part of information gathering and analysis. All right, but the objective of that and building the system is quite different. For building the system, talk to the teacher, observe the teacher, go to the classroom, see what the teacher is doing, or talk to the student, observe the student, the activity, and then you can now document all of them, push it into a system to generate, so that when it comes, they are not surprised. Even when you finish building the system, you need to go to them and show them, this is what we have done. That is where the prototype comes in. This is what we have done. Let the teachers try it. Let the student try it. Then when you are assured of it, you can now scale it up. But thank you for the question. That's very important. Yeah, any other additions, subtractions? Some people have not spoken here. Kinfred. Kinfred, is that your full name? LP Rich Accra? Is Kinfred here? Yeah, Matthew, so see, I hope that's the right pronunciation of your name. Okay, so now we have gathered the information that is required. Now we are going to design the system. So designing the system is also part of the software development lifecycle. We just stated that it's a structured way of doing things. It has components, it will have interfaces, it will have databases, there will be security mechanism that are planned, that are modeled so that we can meet the organization and user requirement effectively. So you design it. And if you are going to design, then there are components. What are some of the components? So design activity would include a database. What's a database? So you first have to have a database. What's a database? What's a database? Yes. And you have your phone, you have your laptop or that you are using. So you don't have to just type database and let's get the definition. Yes, Esther.
Doc, for my understanding of databases, is where a company or an institution or organization keeps their data for analysis, for storage, for kind of have a safe place for it, so that in case they need that data to work on it, they just enter that space and get that data and work on it. So that's my understanding.
Okay, that's your understanding. Okay, that's fine. Your understanding is very good. But in academia, we want you to give us a reference. According to this person, according to this database can be defined, and then you are speaking academically. All right. After what we know in our heads,
Yeah, hello.
that's fine. That's good. Yes, that's good. But we want you to speak academically. All right. Yes, Abraham.
Yes. So, Doc, according to AI overview.
AI overview, okay.
Database is an organized digital repository of structured or unstructured data. That is by Wikipedia. Thank you.
Okay. Wikipedia is the same as the AI overview.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, that's right. You're fine. At least you've given us digital, you've given us organized. You've given us repository. So yes, you are online. Yes, Inusa.
Yes, a database is a tool for collecting and organizing information. And this is provided by Microsoft.
Oh, he didn't say electronically.
Pardon?
He didn't add electronically or digitally.
No, please, it didn't.
Okay. All right. Any other? Yes, Priscilla.
Okay, so according to Oracle, a database is an organized collection of structured information or data, typically stored electronically in a computer system.
Okay, so that makes it comprehensive. A database is an organized collection of related, so it must be related data stored electronically. So these are very critical points. So when you have a question to explain what you may not be asked at this level, nobody's going to ask you what is a database. I mean, it's not going to happen. We'll give you a question and then you have to bring in that database and explain to us. So our questions are going to be more application of the knowledge that you have acquired. So it must be organized. It must be a collection of related data. So if you go to Ministry of Defense and they are collecting data, they may not be collecting data on education. Their data will be different. So the data they are collecting must be related and it must be electronically stored. So you are storing them on your computer or these days in the cloud. And the cloud, you still need a computer to get it. So structured in a way that makes it easy to access, to retrieve, and also to update within the information system. So we have database management system. We'll look at it also in detail. Yes, Priscilla, your hand is up.
Sorry, say that was the old one. Sorry.
That was then. Okay, all right. I could still see you. Yes, Inusa, your mic is on. You still want to say something?
No, sir.
Inusa. Okay, then can you put your mic off then? Okay. So to get it done, you need to have organized structures, data structures, look at their relationship, and also be able to store. So storage methods, so that you can have efficient management of the data. Right, that will be your first point, the key activity to design. Because if you are designing, where would the information that you are collecting, where would you keep it? Okay, so if you ask somebody to go and you've ordered for water in Ghana, probably water is one of the key things. So if you order for water, they'll bring the tank. But if they bring the tank, you must have a receptacle. You must have something to put them in. That is what the earlier contributor said. You have to have a receptacle or a repository that can contain the water that you are getting. You don't let the water come to your house before you now be looking for containers to put the water in. Okay, so that's the first point. You need to design a database. We've explained what database is. Then you might have to look at the interfaces as well. So developing a user-friendly. So your interface must always be user-friendly. People that come to the system should not struggle to understand all right, so that they can improve accessibility, usability, and interaction. If the person comes already, the person has issues about the system you are building. Other, because we've already discussed the what do you call it, the challenges of building a system, and that includes user resistance. So the user is resisting already. By default, he will resist because he's not used to it. You are bringing something new, and therefore, when you bring it, he has to go there and be happy to be there. All right. There's also the need for the security architecture. We've defined already that so long as you're online, so long as you're going to have the system to work through the internet, there's the need to have security. Ghana, we have the 2012, I think, the Data Protection Act. So we need to understand design controls and protection mechanism so that the system cannot be misused. Resources and information asset. Data is an asset. Your data, your name, your index number, all these are assets that the information must be protected so that nefarious people will not come and mess it up. All right. Then you need to also have a process modeling. Now that you know the security, you have seen the interfaces, you already have a database. Then what is the process? What is the procedure? Right? To be able to gain admission to the university, what processes do you use? Okay, go online, buy a form, pay through this, pay through that. So these are the process models that come in. So creating diagrams and workflow models that can describe how the data and the processes move from one point to the other. So just gaining admission to the university alone, it's also a process. It's a system that you use to do it. You go online, look at the various courses, they tell you what you should do, where to submit it, which document you should upload copies of your previous probably fair degree, upload copies of your Ghana card. There are areas where you are asked to provide that information. And so if I want to develop a system, I need to create diagrams and workflow that describe how data will move from one point to the other within the system. So we now have effective system design. So if you design it effectively, then it can be scalable. Scalable means that, okay, you've targeted, probably you are doing a prototype. So you've targeted 100 people. Meanwhile, this system is going to be used by 1 million people, 200,000 people. And it has to be reliable. So reliability is important. Security is key. And maintainability is also important. So all these things will ensure that they align with the organizational goals and also the operational processes within the organization. But the public sector organization, the stake of developing this is amplified. It's high. We've said all these things. That is in general. When it comes to the public sector, the stakes are very high. It's not going to be very easy to get all the information that we require, because some of them need constitutional accountability for the public funds. Some of them will need parliamentary scrutiny. Some will also need stakeholder governance structures and long procurement cycles. So once you've gone through all of this, the procurement cycle alone, you need to meet what's the other? The Procurement Act. You need to go to the Ghana Procurement Authority to get the act. There must be mandatory transparency on the things that you are doing. So all these obligations provide diverse citizens, regardless of their technical or their literacy background, or maybe their socioeconomic status. You need to put all of them into context. So that makes it very difficult. And so these factors would have to be adhered to, and adopting the software development life cycle to the best of our knowledge and practice, but also have institutional imperative. These are the things that you will do. What you get doing in the private sector will take you double the time or maybe more to do it in the public sector. Because you, even as a developer, you will know the entire cost until you are done with all the issue that we've discussed here. All right, you may not be able to know the entire cost. So either you have a developer who would now give you too much, who quote very high. So in Ghana, we can have software being developed and costing as much as $30 million. It happened before. Because people are not so sure of what they are doing. And sometimes because payment will also not come as early as possible, they will put in place, they'll add more to it so that even if you delay for 2-3 years, when you pay them, they can still be able to pay the others. So the software development life cycle framework for developing information system from its conception to maintenance. So from conception, the point of conceptualizing the system. Before you can conceptualize, you yourself must have an initial interaction with what the organization is doing. Have initial, talk to them, know their problem, or if there are no problem, there's also the need to maintain. There are several models. There are several models. We are not IT students. We are not IT professionals, so we are not going to go too much into details. But the most common ones are the waterfall model, the agile model, the spiral model, prototype model, there's an iterative model. There are others like V-shaped model and the rest of them. But we'll take the first two. I think the first two would suffice at our level because most of the things that are being done are using this thing. So depending on the need of the organization and the project complexity, you may pick one or two, but all of them can do the job. Just that the details will be different. And sometimes it also depends on the skills and the knowledge of the people who are developing it. So these are the top software development model that can be used. We mentioned the waterfall model, the agile model. The agile and iterative seems to be very close. We have the spiral model and then the V-shaped model. And then the big bang. The big bang, they would finish the job and bring it to you. So after designing the system, they bring and they are installed. All of them have their advantages and disadvantages. So let's try and see if we can go into, you can go them one after the other. So the first one, the classical model, or maybe the traditional model, is the waterfall model. And the waterfall model comprises 6 stages, 6 sequential stages. So you have to do one at a time. It's a traditional, it's linear. If it's linear, it means that you have to do one thing, finish that thing, and go to the second one. So every project will flow steadily towards, just like the water from the waterfall, you know. You just, when you leave, you cannot go back. That's the idea of the waterfall. As soon as you finish one phase, you are done. Because if it's a waterfall and the water drops from the mountain or from the cliff and gets to the base of the waterfall, it has to continue to the sea, you know, or to the river. It cannot go back, okay? Unless through effervescence or through evaporation, then it will come back as that. So the project requirement will be done. So you gather information about what the project is supposed to do. Then you design, then you implement, you test, then you deploy, then you maintain. So this is one stage at a time. And then each stage must be completed and approved before the next stage begins. You have to finish it up before you go to the next stage. There's no backtracking. Like I mentioned, I mean, if water leaves the cliff or the mountain and is going, it can't go back. So when you finish requirements gathering stage, you finish. You are not going back to requirement gathering stage. And then it is signed off. So everything must be documented. Okay, the person you are doing the things for, you have told him that these are the requirements. Please look through the document. Let's discuss the point that way. Is there any other requirement that you need for me to include or exclude? After you have done that, you've agreed on it, you sign off. So there's a project charter, we sign off, we finish with requirement gathering. Then you go to design. He designs it, brings it to you, you look at it, you discuss it, bring everybody on board to, is that how you want it to go? Okay, you understand, there we go. We sign off as well, we go until we are done, and then we get to the maintenance stage. So each stage must be completed and approved. And each phase will have to produce a formal deliverable. So deliverable is the document that you are going to sign off. And it will also include the next step you sign off before you progress to the next one. So this is waterfall. This is a figure of waterfall. So requirement gathering and analysis stage, you do it. Then you design the system, you sign off. Then you implement the system, you sign off, you test, everybody is happy, you sign off. Then you do the development and implementation, and I think we should have development before the implementation and then maintenance. So this is the waterfall model. There are some key activities that have gone. The classical example of it for planning, you define the scope, you look at the objective, the resources available, the high-level timeline, establish the project steering committee or project committee. Then if it's in the public sector, look at the people who may be involved. You may have cabinet ministers for authorization and alignment with national ICT. You may have multi-year budgeting cycle. So you may think that you want to do a particular ICT project. Meanwhile, this year they didn't add it to the budget. We've captured it, but it wasn't added. So it cannot be done. We need to move on and move on. Then there is a requirement gathering analysis. You elicit, look for documentation. I think we've discussed this. You look out for what we call the functional and non-functional requirements through stakeholder consultations. So here, look at the people who will be involved. Multiple ministries, any ministry at all that can have an input or use it. There are legal requirements. If there are no legal laws, you may have to go to Parliament and get it. Accessibility, and if it's multilingual, in Ghana, English. But if you want to add all the other languages to it, that's another thing. Then you now have to design the system design. You have to translate all these requirements into architectural database. Look at the interfaces we have agreed on, and then the process design, the process that will go through. You need government procurement rules. You need to have interoperability with legacy system. The system that are already there, we need to have them to be interoperable, and then you also have data sovereignty. Implementation stage, then you are now doing the coding. That is not for you to do. You get an IT person, a computer science person to do the coding and testing, integration, and producing the user and technical documentation. So you might have a local vendor, you might have a combination of a local vendor and an international vendor with the skills so that they can transfer obligations. You can also have open source or proprietary. If it's open source, it means that they are taking the system, they are not buying the system. They may pick something that has been done already and implement it and adjust it here and there. But if it is a proprietary, then you have to buy, and that doesn't come cheap. Then you do the testing, the user acceptance testing, security and performance testing, all these involving independent audit requirement, mandatory pilot rollout, like I said, with the prototype, so that we roll out either at districts or at agencies to give it out. Then when you are sure of all that, you go live, you deploy and maintain and do post-maintenance review, ongoing support, and then you can now be able to do change management if necessary, and then you can have the public budget sustainability for maintenance and all of that. So these are the stages that the waterfall go. So after planning, you are not going back to the planning. You do the requirement analysis, you are not going back to the requirement analysis, because each point you sign off, unlike the others, which is there. So there are some aspects. It must be sequential. It must be sequential because you finish one point and you go to the other. You do not overlap. One phase must be finished before the next can start. It has a very rigid approach, all right? Because it is difficult to change requirements. Once the development has begun, there's no way of changing the requirements. And therefore, it's unsuitable for projects where the requirements are not well defined. Many of the projects, the requirements are not well defined. And sometimes there's also what we call the scope creep, where the person says that this is what I want to do. Once you start doing it, then he has a change of mind. Oh, can we add this to it? Can we add this to it? You keep adding. So for developers, waterfall model is okay. Because when you finish the planning stage, sometimes each stage you give payments. After the planning stage, we finish, we sign it off. So pay me, let me go. Then somebody can even pick the planning and go and give it to somebody else to develop it. So planning stage, we finish. Each stage, we finish, we sign. So we are not going back to it. It's quite rigid. It has its positives and also the challenges. Then you must also document. And for software development, you must always document. Have comprehensive documentation at each stage so that people will understand. Otherwise, you finish and the person says, this is not what I said you should do. All right. So it is best for stability, for short, stable projects that has clear fixed requirements. But many of them, many projects do not have that clear fixed requirement. So we might have to come back and forth. So it is easy for everybody to understand. That's the pro, that's the advantage of it. It's easy, it has a clear milestone. It is easy for documentation and it is predictable because we have laid out the systems and how each of them will go. But it has its negatives as well because it's very inflexible. I mean, it is too rigid. There's risk of high error requirement are misunderstood. They have to start all over again. So testing occurs too late in the cycle. Before you start testing, you have paid the person more than half of the amount. So because of that, people are now looking for other other levels like agile and the other will go into that agile. So, but some people are still using the waterfall anyway in a regulated project where consistency and documentation are required. So it has its positives and it has its drawbacks as well. Then there's the iterative. Any question at this point? Any question? Yes, Mustafa.
Yes, yeah. So with this waterfall, during the testing stage, if maybe some issues are identified which were not envisaged at the requirement stage, does it mean we cannot go back and sort them out?
Okay, you can go back and sort them out, but it also will come with what do you call it? It will come with cost.
So that's where so what about if the requirement is so obvious? For example, maybe currency sign. So if you are developing maybe an accounting software for a Ghanaian company, for example, the
currency is dollar.
And maybe the software's currency is dollar. The currency should be CD. But and this is a real life example where after everything we realized that the currency was dollar, and we said no, the currency must be CD. And then the developer says, so, but at the requirement stage, you went through all this and you accepted the dollar. So it has to come at the additional cost, just as you are saying. So such very obvious and basic requirements that must be there. Does it also have to be? Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
that's my question. I think
fine. Yeah. You've gone through the requirement analysis stage. He has shown you the requirement analysis stage. You've asked all the questions that you needed. He's giving you documents. You have signed the documents. So when we finish a class like this and I ask, is there any question? You say there's no question. Are you sure? You understand everything? You say you understand. Any addition? You say no addition. Okay. So in the absence of any discussion, and can you propose for the closure of the class? Then you do propose. Okay, we don't end there. Can somebody second the motion that we are ending the class because we don't have any question? Then you say yes. You think it's for a joke? Tomorrow you call me and say, the whole thing the man taught me, I didn't understand. No. But you renege on your rights. Because you don't understand, the man is here. Ask him the question that you don't understand until you do understand. So all these you have signed off. It may be evident. If it was that evident, why didn't you bring it up during the analysis, during the requirement gathering stage? So if you waited for us to do all the code, because sometimes, because it's a system, you don't just change one thing. You need to go through the code. You need to run the code again and again and again to come and now identify the error that you require. Okay. Otherwise, you also can put it in the requirement analysis that if any error is required or any addition is required, the vendor or the developer promises to resolve it without additional cost. But if you don't do it, then the people will charge, especially for government institutions. And we are here with government institution in mind. Government institution, because the person is not the one paying. The chief director, the minister, the IT director, he's not the one paying the amount. The money is coming from government. So okay, so can you change this? Can you change it to CD sign for us? Okay, it will cost you an additional 100,000 Ghana cedis. No problem. We can add it to it. Yes, David Brown. Yeah, David, your hand has been up for a while. David here. Inusa, your mic is on.
I want to add.
David here.
Yes, I can. No, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear you.
Yes, I can. All right.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I want to add up to what Mustafa asked. So, yes, I want to add up to what Mustafa asked. Quite recently, I jammed on a project that it happened to be that the requirement was gathered, the stakeholders, the vendors, everybody was on the call when the requirement was being gathered. However, we did a UAT test. Everything was successful on the QA environment. Moved it into live or into production, but then happened to be that what was expected in production wasn't running as such. In the sense that if, for example, we are supposed to see a particular set of data run in production, it wasn't working as it was supposed to work. Meanwhile, in the QA environment, it worked perfectly. It was stated in the requirement. So in this scenario, when you're going back to the vendor, is it going to come at an additional cost, or the vendor is going to now rewrite it again with no cost? Since you've not stated in the requirement that when there's any change or whatever, it's going to come at a cost. I just want to clarify that.
Well, that's also legal. We live this system we are building also has a legal requirement. So the legal requirement is, unless I see the contract, you are giving the person a contract. What are the terms and conditions that came around that was envisaged? If you didn't envisage it, then it's a responsibility for you to meet the requirement of the vendor, right? Because it's a system. It's a structured system. Remember the reason why did he use a waterfall to do it, or you didn't tell? If it's iterated, you see, when you are signing the contract, whilst you go into the iterative, that one will be clear. But if the contract says that we're going to use waterfall model for it, so whilst I'm supervising your work, you tell me that you are using waterfall. Okay, so waterfall, you have done the planning. Okay, so planning, you come and show it to me. You've done the planning. I ask you all the questions. You said, okay, there, that's all, everything has been, you've gone to do requirement gathering. You've gathered the requirement. We've signed it off. You're going to do development. You sign it off. If at the end of the day, show me your system, you are demonstrating the system to me and it is not working properly, who should bear the brunt of it? So as managers, as economics, as professionals, when it comes to your notice that your organization is building a system, you need to be interested. If they ask you questions, fine. But some organization will ignore you. If they ignore you and they have a problem, that's it. But if you are part of management, you need to ask critical questions. When you go to a meeting, oh, we understand that there's going to be the institution organization is developing a system. Can we understand it? Because I learned that stakeholders, I am also a stakeholder within the organization. So can we understand so that if there are anything, it's not everything that the managers will see. And managers are too busy. Some of the things they just glance through, especially organization, you have to have a legal person, either in-house or a legal person that will come in as and when he's required, so that it doesn't become as if it's only the decision makers that are taking decisions. It's a whole comprehensive analysis. So don't leave anything to chance, and don't blame the developers. They are also business people who want to make money. If you look at the world, every institution that is doing so well, and if it is software, you have no idea how much money comes into them because of some of the things that we are looking at. All right. So don't blame him. You sound frustrated. Hello. That it is only a CD sign. Just change the CD sign to just change the dollar sign to a CD sign, and you want to collect more money. They will. Otherwise, you needed to state in the requirement gathering, we are supposed to have the CD sign to be the currency sign to be CD rather than pound or interchangeably. All right. It's getting to our break time, right? Okay, so let's do iterative. I don't know whether we can do iterative before the break. The break is at 4. Can we do? I think we can do. Okay. Okay. Now, there are a number of challenges with the waterfall model. Though the waterfall model is old, it's been around for a while. It is the traditional way of doing things, but traditional way of doing things has never been effective, especially if there are newer versions of it. So iterative and agile methodology has come. They are closely related. They are designed to handle evolving requirements. So these are the thing, evolving requirements, changing from dollar to CD. It's an evolving requirement. So they may differ. They differ in scope, they differ in speed, and also structural rigidity of it. So yes, it's much better. So whilst iterative development focuses on recycling, so after iterative, it is the recycling of it through development phases to improve the product. And the agile is combining the incremental with intense customer collaboration, so that if there are any issue, we are going back and forth. So the linear waterfall has been criticized, and here we have criticized it because it is rigid handling of evolving requirements. This is one of the evolving requirements, changing from dollar to CD. And evolving requirement in the public sector also. Project direction can change in the implementation. Government changes, and another government comes and say, okay, we've looked at it, we don't want it to be this way, we want it to be that way. So what happens? The developer will go to the bank laughing. Okay, this is the thing we agreed on. It has been signed. This is the document that was signed. So if you don't want it, let's change it. Okay, so there are midstream things. So this is the agile methodology. So you plan, you design, you develop, you test, you deploy, you review. If it is not up to scratch, you continue the design, continue the development. So you keep going round until the customer says that I am okay. All right. And then you can now launch it. So launching means that you are implementing it. You are running live of it. You are going live. So all these are important. So the methodology, the agile methodology has really changed the landscape of software development. It's now flexible compared to the waterfall, which is very rigid. So it is flexible now. It is iterative. To project management. The environment is changing, industry is changing. So agile has become a cornerstone for team that is looking for efficiency, collaboration, and customer satisfaction. Because even this dollar CD scenario can make the customer not satisfied. And if the customer is not satisfied, the whole thing that you have done would also become ineffective and inefficient. So before the person starts using the system, he already has at the back of the mind, oh, the dollar I'm dealing with. And you live in a country where nobody should quote in dollars. So if you have a software that is only allowing dollars to be quoted, then it's really not going to help the customer. Okay. So there are the features of the model includes teamwork, communication, and collaboration across all the functional teams. So there's always the need for regular feedback so that stakeholders can ensure that the project meets the user needs. There's also the need for retrospection, retrospective, allowing teams to learn and improve at each sprint. So this is a sprint. So each sprint, this is one sprint. You can have a number of them until the customer is ready. And there's the need to have frequent releases so that the functional component can also provide the value early and often. And you want to maximize work done while minimizing unnecessary features that come in. So now when you are working with the customer, but it also has its pros and cons. All right, it can adapt to changes quickly. So when anybody brings up an issue, the system can be used to change. There's also ongoing changes can lead to projects expanding beyond the initial goals. That's what I mentioned, the scope creep. The scope creep is what comes up because you can always change. You'll be there, the person goes home and come back and say, I need this to be added. The person goes to somebody's website or somebody's system and sees something and say, okay, I need this one to be added. So if you keep doing that, you may never finish the project. All right, there's a need for testing and iteration to enhance the product quality. Then you don't have emphasis on comprehensive documentation because you are always changing. So you are not signing off anything. So lack of comprehensive may lead to knowledge gaps. When you finish, you are not sure of even where we ended it. It also promotes teamwork as a positive, teamwork and communication. Remember, one of the things we said initially was that you must have regular communication. So with this, you may need, but it heavily depends on the team dynamic. So if the team is not in tandem, if they are not working together, if there's any friction within the team, and you know, Minister of Finance and Minister of Health, they are not agreeing on something, so that the team collaboration may not be there. And there are turf war as well. Somebody thinks that you're going to take my job. There's the need for continuous feedback to ensure alignment with the user need. The user is also part of it. So because there are changes also, it is difficult to estimate the time and the cost that is involved. So is it going to be done in 2 years, in 3 years, in 6 months? And what is the amount that is involved? All of these things will make the project drag before completion. So Agile has principles and value. And there are a set of guidelines that prioritizes what the individual will do. And the customer collaboration over the rigidity of the waterfall. It also has a value-centric approach that encourages the teamwork to adapt to changing requirements. So it will not be far-fetched that the currency sign from dollar to CD, because we are all adapting to changes and to that we can deliver the software incrementally. When we come to the iterative, any question on this, on the Agile? So iterative is also part of the Agile. The Agile itself is also iterative because we are going back and forth. Iterativeness means that you are going back and forth. You are not. It's not the rigid linear way of the waterfall. So instead of working on a lengthy project with fixed scope, Agile teams will break them down into smaller, manageable units, and then that is called iteration or sprint. So Yeah, that's the iterativeness is also part of this. Then we may also have cross-functional teams. Cross-functional means that many people within the team would have to come together. I think it's let's give ourselves a break and come back in 15 minutes time. All right, and come and continue. So if we can pause the recording. Is it possible to pause? I think so. We can pause the recording. Pause the recording. All right. Okay, good afternoon again and welcome back.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Doc.
I hope you had some rest. I hope you took some walk. Don't be sitting down for 4 hours. Okay, so let's continue where we left off. Okay. Okay, so far, can we have a brief of what we've been doing so far? Anybody here who is ready to give us a brief of what we have been doing so far? Those who are not talking, are you sure you are in class? Anthony Aduma Adamajo.
Yes, Doc.
Are you sure you are here?
Yes, Doc. I've always been around.
But we haven't heard of you.
I'm alive,
Okay.
Doc.
All right. We thank God. Okay, so give us a brief of what we've been discussing so far. What have you penned down?
Yes, so we look at information system design development in public sector. We look at some concepts, the scope of the Infosys, and then I can remember system development life cycle. When we talk of the 6 stages, we started with the planning, and under it we spoke of the identifying the problem that you intend to solve with the system you want to build. You define project goals, and with this you have to look at what you want to achieve with the system. You assess feasibility, be it cost, technology, time, etc., and other resources. You also have to identify the resources required for developing an effective information systems. Then under it, you talk of the querying the organizational challenges, the inefficiencies or service delivery gaps that you intend to solve with the system. And we also went ahead to look at the scope, and I think this is what I can remember for now. I'm getting on with the course so far. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, all right, thank you. Yes, we're looking at information system development in public administration. We said it involves the planning, the designing, the implementation, management, and of computerized system that is used to support government operations in a public service delivery. It also helps in decision making and also improve administrative functions. So if we look at public organization, to develop an information system is to improve efficiency and transparency and accountability, and also communication to citizens. So if we do this well, then it will help automate the manual processes, which is inefficient, and then they help to manage the large volume of data that public organization come up with. You know, public organization is for everybody. Therefore, if you pick any public institution, the data that they have to handle is so huge. So system planning, feasibility analysis, requirement gathering from stakeholders, and then you can now have system analysis and design. You test, you implement, then you maintain. So there are several types of public information systems in public organization. We look at them. Now we are on cross teams. As it is a system, there's no way to have only one person doing it. And it's cross-functional team means that a lot of people are coming together. A lot of functional units are coming together from finance, from human resource, from all the functions will have to come together so that when they finish, it is a composite whole. But using the first traditional methodology, that is the waterfall methodology, which is the canonical, which is traditional, and it's moved from one point to the other. So when you finish the planning stage, you don't go back to the planning stage. You sign off, then you come to the maintenance stage, you sign off. So each stage is unique, and it has its pros and cons. It has it. The positive is that because it is structured, we finish. So we know when we are starting, when we are finishing. We finish with that and we go. But it has also its negative side. The challenges is that it is too rigid. So like somebody gave us example, even changing a dollar to a CD becomes an issue. It's too rigid. And if there are any evolving issue that come up as a result of change in perspective or change in goals, we would have problem. So then the agile and then the iterative come in. The agile is sprints. So you do one, you plan, you develop, you implement, you see that there are issues, you come back. It also has its positive and negative. The positive is that if there are any outstanding issues or anything that came around when you didn't pick it up during the requirement gathering stage, you can bring it up at any time. But the other flip side of it, the challenge is also that, yes, because you can come up with, because it's iterative and you can come up with anything else, it keeps the project going and going and going. That becomes the project, the scope creep. And that is one of the difficulties that comes with it. It can even balloon the cost, the initial cost of the project. So there's the need to have that cross-functional, where Agile is emphasizing the importance of adding other functional groups, bringing together individuals with diverse skills, developers, the testers, the business analysts, everybody that is involved. There's the need to have collaboration to ensure that the different perspectives are considered and from start to finish during the development process so that we can have a holistic approach to solving the particular problem and meeting organizational goals. There's also the need for continuous feedback for Agile, continuous feedback, because the feedback is a cornerstone, is the most important. In fact, for all of these we are doing for the Agile, it is because of feedback. So when you finish one cycle, you try and you get people involved, let them know what you have done, and if they need any addition or subtractions, they will be able to do it. So there's the need to have regular review so that you can adapt to any feedback that comes, so that you refine the processes and procedures, and then you identify areas for improvements. So we go back and forth, we keep going back and forth. When you use iteratives, it's a loop. So it contributes to the culture of continuous improvement so that they can be responsive to the dynamic environment that we find in most public organizations. So when it's iterative, it's an adaptation where software development approach is broken down into project development cycles, small, manageable cycles for iteration. So now when one is finished, you can now allow continuous feedback, testing and refinement. And then we are looking at softwares that are quickly adding more features in incremental rather than aiming for a single final release like the waterfall model. So this is iterative. This shows an iterative nature of it. So you see the same thing. The planning will come after planning, requirement gathering. You go to system analysis and design. Then you go to testing. Then you evaluate. If things are not well, even after the design, if things are not well, you now have to continue. If they are well, then you deploy and then you maintain. So you keep going and coming back until you will be able to deploy and then maintain. So it's not too different from the Agile. They go hand in hand. But the core concepts and features is that instead of having a rigid stages such as the waterfall, the iterative will repeat each step. So planning, design, coding, testing, these steps are done in short cycles or sprints or iterations, and also help each iteration or each sprint builds upon the previous ones, unlike the traditional canonical what do you call it, waterfall model. So new features are if new features are identified, we can refine the existing ones based on the stakeholder feedback. But there's a risk of having the most of the things that have been identified before they become even a major problem. It is flexible, it's adaptable to changing requirements, and that there's a need for adjustment, it can be made after each iteration. But then the requirement analysis, small set of requirements, the design creating based on the requirements, and then development of the coding where you implement the new features. If you're going to do this over and over again, it also will come with its own challenges. But there are several benefits. Since we are doing it in pieces and bits and pieces, we can see tangible progress early enough. And we are also fostering stakeholder confidence, because the stakeholders are part of the development. So they know before it ends, they know what is involved, what has been added and what has been taken off. Before you take something off or add something to it, you may have to even get their buy-in. So there's continuous feedback where user interaction helps to ensure that the final stage meets their needs. And then if you are looking for debugging is looking for the problem that may come. It's easier when you are doing it small, so that there's a quick in detecting and then looking for bugs to resolve. But it comes with its disadvantage. We need more resources than if it's simple. And then the final state is not clear. We don't know when we go. We don't know when or what the stakeholders will come up with. So it is difficult to define an exact final stage of completion. Then there's also management complexity that require management to keep iteration focused within the scope. If you don't do that, then there's the scope creep where you are never able to finish. So iterative methodology are part of the agile methodology, well suited for large complex projects, those that include evolving requirements. So now we have done it. The next stage is the requirement analysis. Any question at this point? And if there are no questions, it means that there must be some DBQ. What does DBQ mean? And Kelvin, why are you still here with your first name? If you come here with your first name, nothing shows that you were in class. And this is being recorded. So you don't have Kelvin. Or you want me to go and search for who the Kelvin is? Kelvin what? Kelvin, what is your full name? Are you here? Is Kelvin online? So he's not in class. So he logs on and moves on. All right, Nene Bochi. Is Nene here?
Yes, boss, I'm here.
Okay, all right.
I'm
so
here.
any question?
No, sir.
Okay, so give us a brief of what we've been discussing so far. What have we been talking about so far? Nene. Is Nene here? Nene, I thought you responded. Can you give us a brief of what we've been discussing so far? Hello, Nene, are you here? Isaac Kofi Atiga.
Doc, please, I'm here. My network is going on and off.
So let's hear you. What have we been discussing so far? Okay, Kofi.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's hear you. Do you have any question?
No, I don't have any question for now.
So then give us a brief of what we've been discussing.
Yeah, so basically, for now, we are on the iterative development, and we are saying that it's a software design approach that is built based on it's built, tested, and refined, based on small cycles or processes. So basically, that's what the iterative development mean. Instead of creating a whole design on its own, it's being designed in such a way that small cycles are being put together, tested, and then used to develop the software. So basically, that's what we've been working on. We've been talking about for now.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And that is okay.
Yes,
so now we are looking at the requirement analysis. And why is requirement analysis important in software development?
Hello, Doug.
Yes.
Please, I have a question.
Okay, Joseph.
Sir, please. So, in the situation where you find yourself in an organization where you discuss or you discover the problem, and now you try to come up with a solution. So you want to introduce a new policies, whereby maybe you realize that there are lateness or members or workers are come to work early, very late, and then you're making production very low. So you try to bring on board a policy that you introduce a software whereby an employee come in clock in at the time that he or she reports. So you try to solve that problem so that it will boost production. But upon that, you realize that management and then some management and then some employee are not trying to allow you, or they are not buying with your idea. That idea. In that case, what will you do?
It's a difficult scenario because you should know that if you are in charge, if you are the one in charge, you are the director or you are the minister, we are here as a public institution. So what you can do if you are not the director, if you are the director, you can put policy statements for consideration. You cannot implement it without the authorities coming in because it's a public institution. It belongs to the public, and the public means government. Government is in charge, so you need to now approach government to lobby government, and most of these things are lobby from government. That's when it can be implemented. I remember when Dr. Park Osindum was Abraham Abiuti, when Dr. Park Osindum was a minister in charge of, I think, public sector something. He brought even at that time, I think it was a biometric fingerprint, so that when you get to the office, you put your fingerprints on it to record that you have come to the office. These things are
public sector reform, or
yes, public sector reform. Park Osindum tried to implement public sector reform, and the devices were procured and given to, I think there was a test pilot or something. The lights will go off. There's light off. So what do? And people can even disconnect it because they can go and disconnect the main thing. So this is all part of the change management program, the resistance to change. So we really need political will. If it is the government, if it's a public institution, then you need a political will to do it. But can the president have eye everywhere? No. Some people are not ready to come to office early. So either you put a CCTV somewhere or you have other means to do it. It's not an easy thing because All this we are talking about includes culture, the culture, organizational policy, and all that, and the willpower. So what to do is to lobby to make sure that people get to buy in to what you want to implement. Yes, Mustafa. I thought I saw somebody also hand up. Yeah, Mustafa.
Yeah, sir. So I think with the example you are giving, and I think it cuts across. So it makes the requirements, analysis of the requirements very critical. Because, for example, in the public sector, a certain cadre of staff, they start their meetings from somewhere. Somebody can start the working day from a meeting somewhere, not coming to the office, and maybe come to the office late in the evening to continue into the night. So this is just an example. So if you bring a biometric thing to monitor this thing, maybe you have to look at the cadre of staff. But if it cuts across all staff, then it wouldn't be effective because the senior people are always working from outside before they come physically to the office. So I think the requirement is, and even if you look at our current dispensation where people can work from home and all that. So I think systems for tracking productivity and all other things must be appropriate to the times so that we have systems to measure productivity rather than presence, because some people even come and sit the whole day without really doing anything, but they would have clocked in anyway, and at 5 they clock out. So I think the system requirement and its ability to help the organization to meet its objective is something that must be taken very seriously when we are designing software.
Yeah, you are right, and I agree. So all these things will be informed. I mean, you have to provide this information to the software developers. So if you have to be online, like now we have a lecture. How do we prove that we started a lecture on time? The institution says that we should start the lecture at 4. How do you prove? There must be some proof, not your physical presence. How for physicality? That is what we are trying to move away from. The manual process and physical process. So once you log into the meeting, the system to capture that you are present in the office. So the biometric is to solve one problem of those who are coming to the office. But if you are not supposed to come to the office, the organization is aware that you have a meeting here or there. So yes, you are right. I mean, how can we decouple your presence and your physical presence to your productivity, even though you are not physically present, but probably electronically or digitally you are present? Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Yes, Abraham.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Dr. Sarfo, thank you very much for the opportunity. I have, I think, like 3 points that I would like to make.
Then let me take a pen and paper. 3 points. Okay.
You see, the first one was about the political will that you were talking about, that there have to be a political will. But you also mentioned that how many eyes does the president alone have? Of which it was a great point that you made. Now, I'm thinking, so if holistically, let's take the NIA, for example. So maybe this one is a policy direction which will benefit the entire country, of which maybe the president or whoever has accession to it or have assigned to that. Now, when it comes to its implementation, then I will link it to the design, the planning stage up to the latter part. Now, when it comes to its implementation, so if we have supervisory agency that's supposed to make sure that this new system, this new idea that we are coming out with, will be implemented to the lowest parts. Now, it has already been approved at the top. what will be the surety that those down will really comply to the implementation so that we can all benefit from its usefulness? That is a hinge on your political world that you talk about. But my substantive question will be like this clock system that we are talking about. Now, in my organization, when you go to the headquarters of the organization, they have this facial recognition that they use it to mark attendance. At the HQ, it has been implemented. But when you come down to the regional offices, we use the manual book attendance system. I raised questions about this in one particular meeting, but for them, they were saying that the regional people are not ready to implement that facial recognition system. So I was wondering, so when we began this course that we are all engaging ourselves into, I start asking myself so many questions. Well, now, what will be the problem? Is it that the regional levels are becoming resistant to change? Of which I want you to clear that one for me. And the last one, if we want to create a whole system design, a new one, Doc, looking at the setting of we Ghanaian, how in percentage wise, how are we ready for its implementation to the bottom down so that the people can capitalize on it? Thank you very much, sir. I'm grateful.
I'm sure that it is good at pick a pen and paper. Well, thank you. Now I'll be with you. Let me try and or you want to contribute to Abraham's concern? Now, Jerry. Is Cobra here?
I wanted to rather add to whoever spoke before Abraham, but I think Abraham's concern about it. I was looking at the fact that you made mention of the fact that during planning, there should be stakeholder involvement in meetings like this. I think it's very imperative when we are trying to solve problems with MIS and we get the stakeholders involved in how to go about its implementation. Everything that involves the MIS, we should make sure the stakeholders are involved. People that are going to use the things people that are going to use this MIS are involved in it. That is what will break down that mentality of how do I put it, fighting against the system. Then also, you made mention of the fact that during methodology, those making the MIS should ensure that they gather data. If they need be, they have to go to the organization, look at how they go about their things and study and then collect data. It is also imperative in that side that whilst whoever is taking the data, it gets to identify these culture of the organization and see how these culture of this organization would affect the MIS implementation or smooth running. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Kobna. We'll get on that as well. Yes, Evans.
Okay, so I just want to comment on the questions my colleague asked. Okay. So yes, on the MIS, the change, I think it end up to cost. So we can implement the MIS all right, but after implementation, if there are no system to monitor the MIS usage and other things, that because I'm saying cost because those IT system and applications, it comes with a huge cost, and even the licensing renewing the licensing at a yearly basis or and on. And we all knew we have the resources are limited for the government as well. So they will have to look at where the pressing needs are, then they will allocate resources to. So for instance, if we have the monitoring system in place, when you clock in at the workplace, we should be able to check whatever you do on your machine, the kind of applications you go through and everything, so that we can get the derived benefit of the MIS system.
Okay, Evans, yeah, thank you very much. Some of the questions require me to do research. Without research, academics, we can only speculate. Okay, so let me take from Evans. Yes, cost is very critical, and then system monitoring, and then priority and pressing needs. So at one point you say it is expensive, therefore let's put our priority somewhere, and the system is still inefficient. Brown, I'll come to you very soon. The system is still inefficient, so you are not even able to do the basic thing that you are doing without using the information. So you are using the manual system. The country is not developing. Things are static. We are not able to solve basic problems like sanitation. We are not able to solve problems like illegal structures on waterways. We still have, it's going to rain. We are just entering into June. It's going to rain. We are going to have, what do you call it, flood coming in. But we are wondering that it is too expensive to implement MIS. So we are pressing it somewhere, and there's no way to monitor. Countries that have adapted this, and we can go copy. We can go copy what they have done. The Netherlands, they have done it, and they are using information system to even on their environment, just to clear the environmental debris and rubbish that's on the environment. Look at our beaches. Just go to the beach, go to the base, Dansoma, go and see how. Our beaches are supposed to be the place that are of high value in terms of buying and building and development and all of that. But go along the Ghanaian beaches and then see what we are doing. So yes, we can have all the reasons why things are not going the way they want, but the cost will always be there. If we don't do it, the cost will be doubled. Once we are thinking of, because it is expensive and not using it and doing manual thing, the cost we are paying for doing manual thing is more than double. Okay, organizational culture is also part of it. And organizational culture, yes, the composite culture for everybody, every Ghanaian is there. How do we manage ourselves? So we have a lot of reasons why we are not doing it. Probably before you finish this course, you have to write a paper and publish it. So that's what I want to say about it. You are right. All the things you are saying, you are right. What is the other side of it? These are the excuses. What are the solutions? Then Kabna also talked about stakeholder involvement. Yes, so the stakeholders must include everybody that may come into contact with the system. So if you are going to the office, the fact that you are not physically in the office, you are using the office procedures and processes. What are you doing about it? All right? So the methodology, the data gathering, everybody must be part of it. Don't just assume that they know or they should have known, or you are doing it top to bottom. You are the director, you are the president, you are the manager. So you have taken the decision. Go ahead and do it. Okay, you go ahead and do it. That's why I said you may not have the eye everywhere. It is somebody else who may be able to implement it or work with it. Therefore, there's a need to have the person come in. There's barrier, there are challenges, but all these challenges have been acknowledged by information systems analysts. And therefore, they are asking you to do this. If you follow the step that we are doing, then you'll be able to resolve most of the issues that we are being confronted. Then when you come to the clock system with Abraham, yes, the clock system, you said there's the head office. The head office is using it, but the regionals are not using. Why are they not using it? Who is taking the decision that the regionals are not prepared to use it? They are not prepared to use it. When we were buying it, when we were engaging, when we were developing it, did we involve the regionals? Did we have stakeholder consultation? We even said that there can even be a training manual for them. So we don't take things for granted. Information systems is not taking anything for granted. Everybody, we must give them questionnaire, we must observe them, we must find out how they are doing. So you may need not just the information system. You may need psychologists in there. You may need sociologists in the team. You may need doctors in the team. You may need lawyers in the team. So before you take a decision, Mustafa, I'll be with you very soon. Before you take a decision, you have cleared all the blades in the grass. All right, everybody else have been, and the reason why they may or may not do, and if they may not do, how can you convince them? All this must come about. So students who have the knowledge are not able to get employment, because those who are overage and did not study information systems like you are doing when they were in school, you can't blame them. It was not part of the curriculum, so they were not trained. So you come and they don't understand. You need to find a way of getting it done. As for the NIA and all of this implementation, the planning, the supervisory agencies, yes, sure, they all need to be part of it. But requirement gathering needs us to bring everybody. You should know who would accept it and who would not accept it. The political will is there. The person is a member of the political party, and he's the one that is not even supporting such thing because they know that, well, it may affect their livelihood or something. So it's a huge challenge we have on our hands. There are a lot of research going on in many universities, but in Ghana, nobody cares about research. After you are done with it, you write a thesis. And you write a thesis, you'll be supervised. You write a thesis, you come up with implication for policy, for research, and for practice. You come up with these implications. Who would pick it up and look at it? Nobody. So we have a lot of knowledge stored in what do you call it, in thesis, but nobody is implementing them. Nobody is even reading them. Until we do that, other countries are using the universities so we develop policies from the university level. Because we have done the research, we know what it takes, because we are not in politics I want your vote, I don't want your vote. We are looking at the issues as they come. So probably we need to do a rethinking of how we manage ourselves as a nation. But no matter the excuse we give, if we do not adapt information system, we still continue along this path. And things are deteriorating in this country. You and I know. Yeah, Mustafa Adams.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking the case study that Abraham gave, is it that the system has been deployed at the regional level and they are not using it, or it hasn't been deployed at all? Because
Abraham, over to you.
My good sir. So
yeah.
The system has been rolled out, but only prevailed to the HQ. That is the challenge. So the 14.
So the system is not available at the regional level for use.
You are correct.
So that one is not
really
a resistance issue.
No,
it's
you see,
it's the head office that is maybe the resistance is coming from head office, maybe for certain reasons. But not for the users. If it is deployed at the regional level and they are not using it,
then we have a point to worry.
But for now, if it's not there, they can't use it.
No, but according to the strategies that they use to implement the system, like it was detailed in the contract that, let's say, within a year, when the HKO has bought into the system, it must be decentralized into the various regions. Now, the heckles or the problem was when a survey or questionnaires was administered to the various regions, per them, the findings made them choose that decision that let them hold it on before they will decentralize.
So they are piloting it for now.
No, It's getting to 5 years now.
It's how many years?
5 years now. So we can't use the resistance to change as a challenge. We can't use that one.
Because it's very strange because it's coming from head office. So head office should be able to enforce it. It's an enforcement issue now. If really the challenge is resistance, then it's an enforcement issue. But I think there may be other issues at the head office why they are not deploying it to the lower levels. I was just interested in knowing. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mustafa. Brown. Yeah, Brown, your hand is up. Mustafa, you can put your hand down now.
Yeah, Doc, am I audible?
Yeah, you are very audible. Go ahead, we can hear you, Brown.
So, yes, I think Mustafa asked a very important question pertaining to the discussion AB brought. One of the things I would want to really highlight the business process flow. Consider implementation first. The regional level needs to understand the business process flow. So if we have not deployed any form of training for the people at the regional level, they are not even going to know how to utilize the system in the first place. And one of the inefficiencies too that I would attribute to the head office would be that they are not using that system for any form of audit. What do you call it? Any form of audit when it comes to checking the times employees came to work. It means when they go to the regional level, they use manual system. Either they book or whatever Excel they use for reporting. It means it's still comes back to an implementation issue, because
you are breaking serious.
Yeah, of course.
You are breaking serious. But if I get the import of your intervention, then it means that you don't have to blame the people at the regional level if it hasn't been implemented. Is that the import of your submission?
Exactly, not at all. We don't need to blame them.
You don't need to blame them.
I mean, they may come with their own barriers, but then per the discussion, they are not to be blamed at all.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Yeah. So it means that how was it even developed? How was it deployed? So if we bought it and you can buy it from off the shelf, or you develop it, this one we are developing it. So if it was developed and we are being told to follow a certain threshold, Anthony, I'll be with you. You are supposed to follow a certain structure. The structure says that you have to conceptualize, you have to plan, you have to do solicit, what is it? You have to look for information from all stakeholders. So were the regionals considered as stakeholders? Were they consulted? Did their view come into the field? Were decisions taken? Were they trained? So all these must come up. But we don't do. We decide that we want to buy a system, then we buy. Then we start implementing it. And so we are putting the cart before the horse. So how does the cart go? Because it's the horse that must pull the cart. If we put the cart before the horse, then we are going to stay where we are. All right, Anthony.
Yes, Doc. So with regards to what Abraham spoke about, the NI, I've worked with them before. And the challenge is not really with the regional level or even the district level. The buck stops with the headquarters. Sometimes even fuel to power against it to even start the day for registration and the rest is difficult. And let alone deploying a system for them to use to run. In fact, when it gets to using the information systems at the NI, at the regional level. The amount of money that comes as impress even for the regional director to be able to use to run the office is not coming. He delays for some times in months, it doesn't come. Then we now talk of the general challenge we have in the country when it comes to network connectivity. As we are doing online right now, you see people are just dropping off and coming, dropping off and coming. So to have an effective MIS system to run, you need to really prepare a private network. And for example, Starlink is really costly to set it up and use to manage the system. So for NIA, just like my colleague said, it is not the challenge with the regional level, but from headquarters. Then the second thing I want to speak about is that why is it that for the private sector, all of these things work? So all of these things boils down to the political will that we are talking about. If you go to some private businesses, the system works perfectly and their productivity is definitely going to be high. So my advice is that if we can incorporate this MIS system or information system from the primary to the tertiary level, so that when you finally graduate and you want to enter the world of work in the public sector, it is already part of you. You don't allow the person to finish school without having such training. The person will be employed, and then now you bring a system for the person to adjust. This is one of the reasons why some pioneers or senior members normally go against some of these systems that will help us improve our productivity. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I have a radical, and let me congratulate you for the suggestion that MIS to be taught at the primary level. For me, it is even at the crèche level. But you know what we teach at the crèche level? We teach how to pray. So the child at 2 is learning how to pray to God. So when he finally graduates and enter the work environment, the first thing he does is that we are going for morning prayers. But you and I know that yes, prayers are important, but that is not what makes countries develop. No country has developed out of prayers. So rather than having the first point of call as prayers, probably we should start teaching children how to use information systems. What is the information? The child must know what is meant by system, the advantages of information system. We must do it like we do the black sheet. We are teaching our children how to speak in good English. Well, English is good. But then at the end of the day, speak good English and you are not able to do anything. What is it? So yes, I really will agree with you. Yes, Abraham.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for assiduously dealing with the issue that I raised. When you were giving some explanation, you made mention of we either copying maybe different jurisdiction, how they, whatever they use to solve their problem in terms, whether in sanitation and what have you. Now, you just even landed how we can even start teaching MIS or ICT at the crèche level. But the truth to be told too, in Ghana here, most of our ICT start from the primary level. From the primary level, we start learning ICT. So I asked myself, so why is it that we still don't get the fundamentals still right when it comes to ICT? Could it be possible that all this brouhaha that we go through is as a result of the approach to which maybe we teach the ICT or the MIS system? Currently, look at even at the university level when people are offering whatever course in ICT, it's more theoretical. It is not problem-based ICT. It's mostly what is. And even, kindly forgive me, even what we are doing now, at the end of the day, it will be about what is, and define this and explain this. But if we will be able to contextualize the teaching into practicality, like what the problem that maybe we brought and how we can use MIS to solve it in our job related groupings, then there will be a way forward for us. But we don't see that. At the end of the day, we will sit in the exams room and we will be judged as how we comprehend what is defined and list and states. So I don't know if my point is quite loud, that if we can move from that angle and move to practical and problem-based ICT thing now, then all these menaces and problems that we face will be corrected. A critical example like what we are doing now, the course that we are offering. If at the end of the day, my lecturer, doc, will be able to assess me based on a case study, a presentation that I have to make, do a thorough research and those things, then presenting, and doc will be nodding the head rather than maybe sitting down and answering. I think that second will move us forward other than the one that we already
the one that I agree with you. You can say it a little more louder. But trust me, you're not going to be asked what is questions in this class. In this exam, there's not going to be what is question. This is the assignment that was supposed to have been given last week. Using a case study of a government ICT project in Ghana or any other country, assess the success, failures, and lessons learned in the design and development of the system. So the system is the ICT system. So this is not a what is question. This is applying your knowledge to it. But I agree. The sentiments are right. The sentiments are right. So we need to do things right. If we start from crèche, by the time the person gets to secondary school or first year university, courses will not be an issue again because he already understands. But this is the case that many people get to do information systems, in fact, IT, but we have moved. IT is the technical, the technology aspect of it. But when it comes to IS, then you are bringing the human behavior also into the frame because IT doesn't work alone. So we are studying IT, which doesn't work alone because it needs human beings. It has to work for human beings, and human beings will have to. It is done by human beings, used by human beings, and used for human beings. So it means that we cannot do the IT without the IS. But that is what we have been doing. In fact, initially it was computer science, but now we have moved on and IS is coming. So yes, I agree with all these sentiments. It has to be changed, and we need to change it. You are also studying now and getting your information. So your thought processes, and when you write your thesis and your project, and wherever you find yourself also, you also become an advocate of it. We have how many television stations in Ghana? Maybe about 80 or so. More than 90% of them are for religious activities. Just show me one television station that is discussing IT. None. The rest of them, in the morning, we go and sit on radio station and discuss issues. We can run issues for 7 days. We go and do newspaper reports. The thing is, in the newspaper, we are now coming to sit on TV and radio and discuss it. So where is the information system? So our focus is all, but the thing that will make us develop. If it is politics, we have finished elections. We'll still be talking on politics for the next 4 years. Then we start getting to the 4 year, we'll start another political thing. Then all the radio stations, everything. So who has time to even bring these things to the field? So it's a major issue, brother. It's not something that we can just let it go. The whole culture, the whole Ghanaian culture needs a dramatic change. And for what we are doing now, Charlie. But we need to learn so that when you get to the position, you know what to do. Don't do a project that the stakeholders that are going to use it or that are going to be affected by it, you do not talk to them. You don't ask them anything. You don't tell them anything. They'll be there. They'll be in the region. Then they'll come and say, we have implemented, do this. We have maybe, we can't get far with it. So they'll use it for about a month or two, and then fine. There's no fuel crowd to put in the generator. Light is off. So what do we do? Yes, Abraham, your hand is still up. We have another 30 minutes to go. Or maybe another hour. Yes, Brown, you're here again. Is Brown here? Brown, your hand is up. Or you are having challenges with your network. So let's move on. Did we do requirement? Brown, David Brown. So this is your assignment. So it's not what is at this level. There's no what is here. So have a case study. Somebody is talking about NIE. So pick government project like NIE. Go into the research. Assess the successes of NIE. Assess its failures and lessons learned, and then design and development of the system. So yeah, we should be able to get to that point. All right. Is there anything else? I think we're here, right? We've done this already. Okay, we're on requirement analysis. Okay, so requirement analysis. So you have now spoken to the people, you've gathered their sentiments. Now you need to analyze it. So after requirement gathering, knowing what the system will do, asking the people around who are going to be affected, the stakeholders, you now come and analyze it. So at this level, it is the ICT guys who come and analyze it. So the processes would be systematic and documentation and management of the stakeholder needs. So you will see that if you are doing MIS, the stakeholder are the human beings. Their needs are what is going to drive the success or otherwise of the information system. So you have to define the aim, you have to analyze and validate. So you have spoken to people. Now validate what they have said to ensure that the requirement you have gathered are complete, they are consistent, they are actionable. So it's not the person just say it. They are actionable. They can be put into place. They can prevent feature or scope creep or feature creep. So if you have done all these things, then it is not at the behest of somebody. So this is a very important phase that ensures that the final product aligns with user expectations and business goals. Sometimes those who have the authority or who have the opportunity to run, they won't go along this path.
Hello, Doc. I can't see the slides, so please, I don't know.
You can't see the slides?
Yes.
All of you?
Yes.
Oh, yes, please. Creative development.
Since you pause this.
That's serious. So where am I here?
I think even the slide is even tired.
It's not tired. It's not tired. The slide cannot. MIS is never tired. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes,
yes.
can see it.
Okay, so I was here.
So you have Kapao.
Come again?
So you have Kapao.
Why?
Because we all tired. We all tired.
So you want a break? We'll finish right now. This is only 4 weeks, so we have the next 2 weeks to go, and you want to get your certificates too. So
okay, thank you, sir.
All right. So yes, you need to now involve a systematic study. You need to document. You need to manage stakeholders' needs. You need to know the stakeholder. Stakeholder is a human being. He's the one. This is the most important thing in all. So you don't take a decision from the head office and then you think that it will trickle through. No, before you even implement it, you need to talk to them. So we have to define the aim, we have to analyze, we have to validate the requirement. Remember, we did requirement elicitation, collecting the data on what they need or what is expected to be achieved so that you can ensure that they are complete. They should be complete though. You can't do half-baked requirement analysis. You can't do half-baked requirement gathering and think that you can succeed. So most of the time, we don't go through these processes. They should be consistent. They should be actionable. It's not everything that can be actionable. So you pick the one that can be actionable, and then you prevent the feature creep or the scope creep. The scope creep is coming back and forth and telling people that the thing has not been done. It has to be done again. So these are very important phase to ensure that your final product would be aligned with the expectations and the business goals, so that you can reduce the rework. So requirement analysis is identification, documentation, and validating what the information system must do. So that's the functional requirement. What is the system required to do? And then under which conditions must the system operate? So we have functional requirement and non-functional requirement. So if you consistently cite single most important thing, then you are going to ensure lot of people have gone through this. There has been a Standish Group report that identified that unclear requirements, so both functional requirement and non-functional requirement, are not clear. So there's lack of user involvement. So if there's lack of user involvement, then the causes for IS failure globally is because of this issue. If the requirement that you are taking is not complete, if the people who are going to use the system are not involved in its development, how can the system be accepted? So over 80% of, maybe 60 to 70%, I must say, of IS is not worldwide, it's not successful. So if worldwide is not successful and it's up within 60 to 70, can you imagine what comes to Ghana? So the problem is structurally amplified by the public sector. In the public sector, it's even worse. As for private sector, he's the one doling out the money, so he can feel it. The public sector is not his money. Look at what we experience when we go to what do you call it? The Public Accounts Committee. If you watch that, I've stopped watching, because when you watch it, you become, I don't know, so disillusioned and so worried. Look at the amount of money we are throwing around. So in the government context, requirements are not solely technical specification. When you are doing information systems, it is not just the technical issues. The requirements are also cultural, they are also procedural, they are also personal. All of these things must come. So simultaneously, they are legal mandates, they are policy commitments, they are administrative procedures, and citizens feel entitled. This is their money. You are using their taxes. You are using. Even if you go to borrow, you are borrowing in your name. You are not borrowing in the name of a political party. Neither are you borrowing in the name of the president. You are borrowing in the name of Ghana and the citizens of Ghana. So they feel entitled. And this is why all these are failing. Well, so type of system requirements, these are the type, the functional, the non-functional, the regulatory or legal, the interoperability, the security, and then the accessibility. I'm sure that, these things can be read and understood. And then we have to have the requirement elicitation. How are you going to do it? So we have structured interview. You go one-on-one or small groups and interview stakeholders. So the ministries, the directors, the frontline officers, IT staff, legal counsel, everybody that is within there. So you have interview so that you can know effectively their knowledge, their political sensitivity, their constraint. You put all these into perspective so that if there are any unlikely voice in the group, you can get. So you have interview protocols, you have to pilot test it. So it's a whole ball game. It's a whole complicated and involving issues. So probing, neutral, listening to people, avoiding leading questions to distort the information. You can also have workshop. So you have joint workshop before you can take the decision. So integrate failure during the implementation. All of these things must be done. Then you have feasibility studies as well. So having feasibility studies, evaluating technical, economic, legal, operational viability to ensure that the project is successful the project aligns with strategic goals, and then you can now build the stakeholder trust. So each step, including the preliminary analysis and scoping and all these regarding data privacy, budget constraint, and citizens' impact must be done. So we have various studies that prevent costly failures to ensure public accountability, but we don't do. So these are some of the feasibility studies that must go. You must have the market feasibility, technical feasibility, financial feasibility. So you put all this in place before you even start developing. Your legal, your operational feasibility will all be part of it. So this is, I think this is, yes, case studies of government projects in Ghana. You have the Ghana Integrated Financial Management Information System. You have the e-switch payment system. You have the e-Ghana system. You have the e-transform system. You have the paperless post system. You have the NHIA. We have several of them. So we are going to use some of these case studies and write the assignments. All right, the way you guys are doing, I think that probably this will be the assignment that you do. So in conclusion, we've seen information system design and development as a way to improve transparency and efficiency, accountability in decision making in public organization. But this must be done through effective and data service management. So using structured approaches such as the software or system development lifecycle, public institutions can help develop reliable, secure, and user-centered information. So, but there are challenges. So the challenges has been enumerated to include inadequate funding, resistance to change. There's also cybersecurity risk and poor infrastructure and limited technical expertise during system implementation. So we need to be successful. And if you have to be successful, there's a need to support digital transformation to enhance public service delivery. That can also help contribute to sustainable national development and citizen satisfaction. So this brings us to the end of the discussion. I'm sure others are very tired. Any question? This is the assignments. So pick any government ICT projects in Ghana or anywhere, and assess them. Let us know whether they are successful, and they will be successes. Whether they are failures, what are the failures, what are the lessons learned, and then design. This must be written in the form of an academic paper. So you need a cover page, you need a table of content, you need an abstract or executive summary, you need chapter 1, you need a background of study, you need various sections. So it has to be
we beg.
Why?
Doc, all this will be taken like at the end of the week.
Doc, this one we beg. I beg. We are children.
What is this one? How are you begging? We have done a lot of work on this. What is the begging? You need to do it. Do it. If we do it well, we may not. If it is well done, we may not do a midterm. I'll use this as a midterm. Mother, we'll do this, and we have to do a midterm. Your time is so short, so
Okay.
Use it. Okay. If you need help, you can always contact. You can always get help from. So it's an academic paper. Don't just write it. This is a master's program. Don't just write it. You need to cite. Academic paper means that you need to cite. And don't go and copy from AI and come and give it to us. We are doing the MIS. So if you go and copy AI without even running the AI test, we'll see. So be careful how you are using it. Plagiarism, don't copy among yourself. You can only copy 20% of the time. Yes, come in. So yes, this is your assignment. So let's do it. Any question?
So I just want to find, is it only government ICT project, or we can use our corporate institution as well?
The course is ICT in government organizations. So let's focus on government organizations. All right.
Doc.
Yes.
So meaning but are we supposed to submit exactly next week, or it can be extended since it's a tough work? so that we can get the time to do a ton of work for you.
If we don't submit next week is our 3rd week. The following week is the 4th week. Then we are almost done with the course.
Okay.
How many weeks do we
that's
have?
fine. That's fine. That's fine.
And in fact, this one should have come last week so that you use this week and next week to do it, but I didn't do it. Because the last week too, we are going to do a presentation. There's going to be a group presentation on the last day of meeting. We are going to discuss the exams, how the exam is going to be, and then there's going to be a presentation, group presentation. So you have to form, you are 30, right? So form groups of 5. Got 3 or 3. 3 will be how many? 10 groups. Form groups of 5. And the groups of 5, I'll give you a question and then you develop so you develop a Word document which will be about 2,500 to 3,000 words. Then you develop a PowerPoint presentation. Each of you will have to play a part. So 5 of you, everybody will speak. We are going to record it. So when you are coming, to come well, because you're going to be video recorded. So this is masters. You don't want people to see you when you are not. So be yourself. Be like an executive person coming for presentations. We'll bring some professors to come and assess you. So we'll discuss more. We discuss into details next week when we meet. But this is individual assignments. You are supposed to do 2,500 words to 3,000 words. Okay, let's do 2,000 to 2,500 words at most. It has to be structured as an academic paper. So academic paper, you come with citations and references. So you are writing as if you are writing a thesis, but a mini thesis, a mini project work for individuals. Please submit it by Friday. Okay, any question? Why? The assignment has made everybody quiet.
So we are down to it.
No, please. How do you get
how do you do
lecture
what?
note?
The lecture note. Let me send this to you here so that I'll put it in the I'll try. They are not in today, so maybe Monday I'll try and put it in the I'll put it in the LMS. So I'm sure you'll be able to. Okay, I think you can put this one to file. Lecture 1 and lecture 2. You say I cannot do 2 at a time. Oh, why? Okay, let me do 1 at a time then. So this is lecture 1. This is lecture 2. Lecture 2 is being used, so let me end it. Has lecture 1 come?
Yes.
Okay, so lecture 2 is also here. Okay, I think lecture 2 has also come. All right, so you have the course outline, you have lecture 1, and then you have lecture 2. There are references, also resources that you can log in. 2022 is a very good source. You can get it online. Loading and loading, they've been discussing a lot about MIS. Okay, any other question, any other? And those who come to class and don't talk, I've told you, being in class is 10%. And then you come, you either get a 10% or you don't get anything. Anytime you come, you have to speak. It's like machine language, zeros and ones. It is 0 or 1. There cannot be any in-betweens. Okay. Yeah. Any question? Any additions, subtractions? Yes, Anthony.
Hello, Doc.
Yes, Anthony.
Yes, this is just a plea. You know, we are doing 3 courses for this 4 weeks, and each of the courses come with heavy assignments with timelines. So we're just putting before you if you can help us.
In terms of
restructure the timelines for this academic paper that you wanted us to do.
For the group presentation or for the individual?
The individual. You said next week, Friday. And yes, we are doing another very tough coding and things, and we have to submit, and then with the energy solutions, we have to do some assignments as well. So consider our age. We beg. And you know, this all of us are workers as well, so we're just patching up time to do this.
But you decided to come for
Father Roma.
That's why we are pleading, Doc. That's why we are pleading.
Information systems, there are no pleading. There are structures that must be followed.
So,
please.
You follow, but just extend the time. Extend the time for us.
Just submit it next week. Next week is the third. Next week it's our third. Our third. In fact, when I started, I said every week there was going to be an assignment. You people said no. Okay, so for the 4 weeks or 5 weeks, we need 2 assignments: one individual assignment and one group assignment. If you don't submit it this week, when I submit it next week, we are going to have the group assignment. Though. The group assignment, there's going to be presentation on our last day of meeting. There will be presentation. So you need to find a way.
So Doc, why not next Tuesday instead of Friday, but next Tuesday?
And next Tuesday how? And what are you going to do your group assignment?
I'm sure next week you give us the assignment for the group.
I'll give you the group assignment. If I give the 2 to you, you'll be confused. So you do this one as group assignment. Try and submit it on Friday. It will help you. Try.
Okay. All right.
All right. Try. It's not if you can give a lot of excuses. The very excuses the whole country is giving why we are not using information system. Look at us. So we are a group of people who are very happy with the excuses.
That's why
it's all of us. So look, when I was in secondary school, was it Australia, geography in Australia? You know, I can draw Australia map with all the reliefs and all the rivers in Australia. But come to Ghana, your hometown, I don't know them. So a lot of things that are important, we are not using. So please try and submit it.
All right, Doc, we are grateful.
If I give you the time to go it against you.
All right, we are grateful. We are grateful.
Any question? I know you are. Did you have another lecture in the morning already?
Yes.
Hey.
A very confusing one.
Tomorrow do you have lectures?
Yes.
Yes.
You want certificate now?
So we are very, very much exhausted, but we love you. So we okay.
You want your marks now. You want your A's now, right?
We want to increase the number of certificates in the system, so we'll do it.
Okay, let's add more to it, and go and replace those who are not helping us to implement MIS. Okay, all right. So if there are no questions, can somebody move for the closure of the class? I didn't hear from Grace Simpini. I didn't hear from
Hello, Doc.
Yes.
Doc, please, before I move for the closure, I want to commend you. I think I really enjoyed the class.
You
and
do?
The discussion, the discussion is very insightful and passionate.
Oh, okay.
And I wish we'll carry the same energy into public service. But all the same, thank you for the time and the energy, and I move for the closure of this class.
Okay, so we want to I want you to make it clear you are being recorded, so you have to tell us, in the absence of any discussion, in the absence of any questions or questions, I mention your name, propose for the closure.
In the absence of any question or comments or suggestion, I, Enoch Kwesipe, could move for the closure of this meeting.
Very good. And Enoch, who are you requesting to second your motion?
Oh, well, anyone that's touched by the Spirit.
Okay, so
Abraham
those
Daze, I
touched by the
second
Spirit,
the
the Holy
motion for
Spirit
closure.
can second. Abraham, that's okay. All right. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Stay blessed. Bye for now. Bye-bye. What happened?